I accidentally looped the intro. I always do that.
That.
I never get used to StreamYard. Doesn't matter how many fucking times I use it. I just never ever get used to StreamYard. It's just a mind fuck for me. But welcome Friday Night Live, joined by a couple of very special, well, not very special guests. We've got Gareth from Video Tasties. We've got Dave from Savage Zombie Reviews.
How
long do you
till
stick?
I finish this drink.
I was going to say Gareth might not be sticking around very long. We know it's not even a fucking school night, and you're leaving early. Fucking hell, man! I sit through an hour and a half of Carry On Camping, and this is how you treat me. I know I chose that fucking film, like, but you know, it's not as good as it's you know, it's nostalgia for me. It's watching it back again. I always forget like how shit like the sort of second half of the film is compared to the opening like 40 minutes. But you know, it is what it is. So welcome anyway. Yeah, Dave. It's been too long since we streamed together, man.
yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, I've just lost I've lost my YouTube mojo. You know, I've just like lost. I don't know. I kind of like lost any sort of like. I don't know. I just couldn't get into streaming again, and I know, and because I don't do regular uploads like you do, it's like the channel just goes dead, and like you know what I mean. It's just like so. It's like I see people putting on the you know like you get like YouTube now sends you their like your email every month or how you or the week every week, and it says like new subscribers and who's been watching and shit like that, and it's just like people are putting stuff up on there on Twitter and stuff, and it's like I think Ginger Ninja got like 80 new subs over the course of the month. I'm like, fuck me, I think I got 3. I was like, fucking hell, but it does help when you're actually doing something on YouTube rather than just sitting on your ass, like not doing anything. So yeah, it is one of them. It's one of them things, but you know. But your channel's popping, man. You're going to be in that 1,000 subscriber club soon.
Well, do you know what? I don't know because I mean, like, I had a pretty dire month last month. I lost more subscribers than what I gained last month.
Did you?
Yeah. So I'm in. Yeah, it was bad. But this month, kind of, you know, it's going up slowly. Now I think I've kind of hit my wall, kind of thing. I've been doing really well for like months. Now all of a sudden, I've kind of just hit that little.
Yeah. Because JT's flying, isn't he? JT's been like uploading like a fucking lunatic, and he's like, JT's probably going to hit 1,000 in probably February, maybe. Like I'm guessing, maybe.
He will definitely hit 1,000 before I do.
I reckon.
You just need.
Where is he?
No, he's not. He's tired, so he's.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah. Maybe if he wasn't playing fucking Dark Souls at like 4 a.m. every morning, that may help. You know,
subtly, yes.
It's not like it's a strange time is where he is. It's like what 7 o'clock in the evening. So
if that,
yeah. But yeah, and you know, getting back to you know, like I think we did a stream, like the last stream we did. I just put our fucking ugly mugs in the thumbnail, you know, and it did like 100 views. We did a similar stream a couple of months before that, and I put Scream in the thumbnail, and it got like 400 views. So you know, it does help. Thumbnail was just. I'm starting to think I might just put cleavage. Can you still
put Jenna Ortega in the thumbnail?
Can you still put boobs in thumbnails, like, you know, cleavage, or is that being banned?
It would be frowned upon.
I thought they clamped down on that. I don't give a shit. I'm not like.
How would they know if it's?
I don't care if it's frowned upon. I don't care. Like I'm some sort of
mine.
But yeah, it does seem to help with certain putting certain franchises in the thumbnail or the title.
That's the thing. Did we even talk about Scream?
Well, we did. Yeah, we did actually talk about it. I mean, I wasn't being a complete like viewer, but let's jump in the chat. We've got Joseph. What's up, Joseph? Stranger Things season 5 begins filming for the final season next week. Okay. I thought they might have already started filming it.
I thought they'd be done by now. Yeah.
So late 20s. Oh my god, how fucking old are those kids going to be if they're only filming it now? Jesus.
Oh yeah,
like,
not going to be.
Well. They're literally not going to be. They're literally not children anymore. They're adults.
Yeah.
They're literally like 20 years old.
Are you saying
So-
11's legal now?
Yeah. Often, but yeah, I think she's like, you're like, the guy who plays Lucas, he's like, maybe like 21 or something, 22. But I think he's like about, yeah, you know what? I think he's like 19, 20. So God only knows how old Mike is. He's probably about 23 or something like that, you know. And it is 7 years ago that the first season came out, so, you know, you've got they were
Bloody
playing 12-year-olds then, so when they were 12, they were probably 14 in real life.
Yeah.
Got Phil in the chat. What's up,
Hey,
Phil?
Phil.
Got Franz in the chat. What's Franz? Franz like half an hour ago.
Don't put him off.
Cliff's in the chat. Cliff's in the chat. What the best Carry On films?
Stop reminding me.
The two movies we just watched, the Carry On Camping and Carry On Girls, Carry On Doctor. They're my three go-to Carry On movies. Dave, what's your favourite Carry On movie?
Come
You
again?
got one?
No,
Favourite Carry On movie?
no, mate. This is a franchise that just passed me by completely.
Fucking hell.
There's a review series for you then.
No, no, it ain't. I'm all right.
How long did
I'll
it
stick-
take you to do Nightmare?
Oh, I got through that quicker than my Friday the 13th one.
Okay.
I do have a feeling though that my Halloween movie series reviews are going to take longer than both of them combined.
I can't believe you haven't already done them. When it popped up, because when it popped up like Halloween 2, I was like, "Fuck, surely Dave not already done Halloween 2."
It's usually
like,
every
no.
horror channel's first series, isn't it?
Yeah,
It took me about a year because what I did, well, originally I was supposed to do it last year, but then I couldn't be asked. I just did like, what did I start? I think I did Halloween, and then I did like the new kind of series of them. So then I did 2018 Kills, and then unfortunately Halloween Ends last year. So then I always thought, right, I'll go back and then start like Halloween 2 and then 4 and then onwards. So yeah, I've got me review for number 6 coming out tomorrow. And then hopefully I'll have like H2O out like maybe in a couple of weeks' time. I'll have a little break from it. Because...
Have you done 3?
No, I'm leaving. I'm just doing
No, I
like
was
the
gonna
Michael Myers
say-
ones. Yeah,
No, because I was going to say, because I'm thinking, have I not got the notification for that? Because I seen the 2 review,
yeah.
and when you said you'd done 6, it's like, you didn't drop 3, 4, and have you done? You've done 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen the 5 one.
Yeah, I've done
But
4
I
and
was going
5,
to
yeah.
say the 3 one. I was like thinking, I don't remember seeing the review for 3.
No, yeah. I'm going to leave that one for next year probably.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
dear. Save the best to last.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Yeah. But yeah, man, just watching like Halloween 5 and 6 pretty much back to back's kind of put me off finishing the series off. But I will do. Like I will.
Yeah, Halloween 5's kind of a bit like Carry On Camping. I kind of think that I enjoy it more than I actually do. Whenever I watch it, I go, "This isn't that good." And when I then, like 6 months later, I'm thinking, "I really enjoy that film." And then I kind of like, I think my memory tells me that it's actually a really good movie. But
Yeah.
Halloween 5 is not a great movie. To be fair, it's not.
No, it's bad. It's really bad.
No, it's no.
I don't even know what's worse actually, Halloween 5 or 6. I mean, they're pretty
A lot of people.
tight close together at the moment.
6 has got the producer's cut.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not a big fan of 6. I can't be doing with. I prefer 5 because it's just that mid-90s before Scream doesn't do it for me. Those 90s horror films before Scream just feel a bit. And I'll say Halloween 5 is an 80s movie, so it's got that nostalgia for me as well of being like a teenager. There we go.
Got the mask.
Another point, I think this is a thing you brought up on your channel, Gareth. I've got some of Friday the 13th. I think we're talking about Friday the 13th now. Was it Halloween 5 or Friday the 13th Part 8? Where you were saying it didn't get a UK cinema release.
Yeah, which one was it?
Now I can't remember if it was Halloween 5 or Friday the 13th Part 8. It was a movie from. It was an 89 movie. It was an 89 movie.
Yeah, it was either Nightmare 5, Halloween 5, or Jason 8.
Now, I distinctly remember Jason 8 and Halloween 5. I'm sure I saw listings in the local paper, the Liverpool Echo. Dave?
Yeah, I remember Nightmare.
They used to have
5.
they used to have the list. They used to have the listings after the TV Guide and the Liverpool Echo.
Yeah.
They'd have like the cinema listings. I distinctly remember Halloween 5 being in the listings for a cinema release. I'm sure it did. And I know Friday the 13th Part 8 did. I'm sure it did.
Yeah, I would
But-
imagine Part 8 did. It's got to be between Elm Street 5 and Halloween 5. If I was to have a guess, I would say Elm Street 5 probably skipped cinemas for us.
Hmm.
But it's a pure guess. But then even
But-
Halloween 5 could have. I mean, when you
Yeah,
watch that,
it's-
mate, it's fucking.
Yeah, Halloween 5 had a video premiere August 1990.
There you are then.
Came out in the United States October 13th, 1989.
So it never got a cinema release in the UK then. Must be my I don't know. Maybe it's because of the similarities between Halloween 4, the cover, you know, like and Halloween 5 are very similar. Maybe I saw that in the Echo, you know, as a listing, and then just like,
Yeah.
but
They
Yeah,
are
they
quite.
are.
They are
Yeah.
quite similar. It's the same as Halloween H2O
original
and
map.
Resurrection. If you look at their covers, they're quite
Yeah.
similar as well.
yeah. Just come back to Francis. Kind of reminds me of The Dark Knight Rises. The first hour is good, and I always trick myself into think I like it if I watch it again. But it goes off the rails after the first hour.
Oh, I love The Dark Knight Rises, man. I it has its faults, it has its flaws,
It's
Don't get me
yeah,
wrong.
I can enjoy it.
but I
For the most
really do enjoy that movie.
Joseph's got to go in a minute, but he says before he goes, one more thing. Has anyone seen Killers of the Flower?
No.
Did you scores 8? I've not seen it. I don't want it.
Not yet. No, I haven't.
Not just. I'll watch it on stream, and I'm not interested in watching a 3.5 hour movie in the cinemas.
Yeah.
I just
No, I've not mind.
No,
Although
same.
Jason Takes Manhattan didn't get a cinema release in the UK either.
Oh, there you are.
Video
Right.
premiere January 1990. Came out in the United States July 89.
That's how-
I got it.
Do you know you what?
I would
That's
have
how
said
you.
it. I would
that's
have
how
said
you-
it did.
Yeah, that's how you know these films flopped hard. Then if they didn't get a release in the UK,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yes.
DJ's in the chat. DJ says thoughts on this Thanksgiving movie, which I'm really looking forward to. It's the
Yeah, I'm
new
hoping.
Eli Roth. Yeah, it looks good. It looks old
Looking
school.
forward. I was gutted
Yeah.
when I went to New York Comic Con. I had a thing to go into the Thanksgiving panel, but El Roth cancelled it at like last minute.
Ooh, get.
I know, it was heartbreaking. So the rumor was apparently we were going to get to watch the movie, but that's just hearsay. So I was absolutely heartbroken when that got
Yeah.
cancelled.
When's Thanksgiving in the US?
November, late
End of
November.
November, innit?
Is it?
So like 20
Because obviously,
or something.
so it's going to drop around. It's going to drop before Thanksgiving, isn't it? In the US, I don't know when we're going to get it because obviously we don't have Thanksgiving in the UK, so they might just drop it. I don't even know if it's getting a cinema release in the UK because it's
Yeah,
getting a
I've
cinema.
heard
It's getting a cinema release in the US, right? I'm
I
assuming.
think it. I
If
think
Eli
we're-
Roth's involved, it's got to be getting
Yeah.
a cinema release.
I think we're getting a cinema release. I'm pretty sure we are. I'm having a
I
look now.
think so. Just limited, maybe.
It's released in the US anyway on the 17th of November.
Right. Okay. So
Um,
next Friday.
Yeah, pretty much,
Yeah.
mate. Yeah.
Yeah, bloody hell.
No, it looks old school. I like the look of it. It looks. But
If it follows the trailer of the original trailer, yeah.
I like
Yeah.
the fact that it's they've not gone for like a stupid like Thanksgiving or something. You know, they've just called it. You know, like some like cheesy like B movie, like
Gobble,
horrible
gobble.
title. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it gives it a bit more credibility. But yeah, that's one that's really,
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see.
I'm looking forward to it.
Dan says Jason Takes Manhattan is crap, but it was worth it to hear some random Welsh kids
Just tell me
taking off. Yeah, Jason Takes Manhattan is pretty crap, but I still love it.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's yeah.
Jay,
I can't even
I
remember the movie for that.
like to call it Jason Takes Vancouver whilst taking a ship from Loch Ness. 'Cause that's how it comes across.
Yeah,
Because that doesn't look like fucking Crystal Lake to me.
I always
How's it fucking-
remember watching your watch party with Gareth for part 8, and the part it always sticks in my mind because I find it hilarious. The part where you said if that was a boat full of Brits, that
Have I done a
bar would
watch
be
party?
drank dry.
What's it for that
I
film?
was like, yeah.
I don't even remember doing that watch party. I must
Yeah.
have been pissed.
That was our first.
Was it? I thought Black Christmas was our first watch party. Fucking hell. I had no idea.
Hey,
Cal Daly, what's up?
It's-
Cal,
It's the one thing with Part 8 that always gets me is it's like the fucking it's proper teleport Jason and that one in it.
yeah,
It
big
makes
time.
fucking no sense. Like,
Mm.
Mystical
did JT
forces,
send
Eddie,
to
mystical
Gareth?
forces.
Yeah,
I'm
Thanksgiving
hoping
is out.
Michael changed the thumbnail.
Yeah,
yeah, put you on it.
Thanksgiving is out next week. I'll give that look over. I'll look. Oh,
Yes.
Hunger Games. Fuck me. Hunger Games is is this a prequel to the original movie?
Yes.
I mean, Rachel Zegler's in it, so that's immediate no for me.
Full stop.
'Cause
Out.
I'm not
No.
watching anything with her in.
Weird.
Weird,
Weird,
weird. Why?
And quite rightly
Girl
so.
falls in love with boy. Weird. Fuck off.
It's a bit of a stalker. Weird.
Yeah, yeah.
weird.
She's in the
Whatever.
UK, isn't she? To
I live in
promote it?
California where this is not normal.
Weird.
Although stalkers is probably normal in California, to be fair.
Yeah, apparently she's more attractive than Gal Gadot.
Yeah, that's the most fucking. How the. Oh, are they going to try and make Gal Gadot look like ugly or less attractive? Less Gal Gadot, one of the most beautiful women in the world, is like jealous of Rachel Zegler's looks. I'm not saying
No,
Rachel Zegler is unattractive, but she's not as attractive as Gal Gadot. So
Inner beauty.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'll be honest with you. I'll be surprised if this movie even sees the light of day now.
It seems to be changing every week, doesn't it?
no, it's apparently it's going to drop in
Abby.
2025 now, is it? Or
Probably.
no, late.
It's definitely pushed back another year, isn't it? So they
Yeah.
can CGI dwarfs in.
So Thanksgiving's on the 23rd.
Right,
Ah.
It's the 17th of November release.
yeah. I think it's out the same day for us.
Don't forget the
Pretty sure it
cranberry
is.
sauce.
They advertised before the re-release of Christine. Christine's getting re-released, is it?
Ah. It's Fran
Overrated.
Shannon he's going to go and see it in Prince Charles Theatre. Or King Charles Theatre. They renamed it?
I've no idea. Christine, overrated movie, in my opinion. Controversial.
Not
Controversial.
Never seen it.
Never seen
And
Christine?
No. I've got no.
What's your channel again?
I've just got no like.
Occasionally,
interest
Dave
in
just
watching-
drops this like
I know.
bombshell. There's a film he's not seen. I'm like, because there's films I've not seen which I should have seen. Really,
He's only young, though, isn't he?
Oh, well. Yeah.
Well,
like-
actually, it's
He's only in his
midnight. Happy
40s.
birthday, Dave. It's midnight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Happy birthday to
Hey,
me.
no, we're not going to do that.
I sang for your birthday.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, get the karaoke machine up.
sorry, whose birthday is it? Oh, it's your
Mine.
birthday, Dave. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right, mate.
Some mates.
How old?
You can steal him a nice TV.
I'm 43 now, mate.
43.
Yeah.
80s child.
You
Yeah.
said 33 earlier. That I believed.
So if you're
Oh.
it's a bit the tricky one maybe for Gareth as well. I'd say like being born in 76, like I definitely identify as an 80s kid.
Hmm.
So do you identify as like an 80s or a 90s kid more?
You
Oh,
can identify as anything he wants.
Yeah, I mean, do you
nowadays.
identify? Yeah,
Oh, definitely 80s, mate.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure because when you're like you're on the kind of cusp of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like because like my entire teenage years were in the 90s, more or less.
Yeah.
But like I kind of when you talk about being a kid, you talk about the years before being a teenager, don't you? A lot of the time, you know what I mean? It's kind of like
Yeah.
8, 9, 10. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I mean, Gareth, I suppose you had definitely an 80s kid.
Well, that's cool, isn't it? Yes, I am.
And we're all Gen Xers as well. So we've got
I
no
was-
no millennials here. No
7 in
millennials.
1980.
Yeah, all Gen Xers. The best generation.
Damn right. Well, all my teenage years was all in the 90s. Like, so literally the whole way
Yeah,
through.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but I definitely
Yeah,
more
same.
identify-
Yeah, same for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I turned 13 in '89 for like 3 months.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I was like, yeah, all my teenage years were in the 90s.
Yeah.
But
But I
so
definitely identify.
I'm definitely an 80s kid and a 90s kid. But
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
in terms of pop culture, in terms like I suppose very late 80s, very early 90s means a lot to me. You know,
Oh,
in terms
yeah.
of I suppose when it comes to movies, like and video games and stuff like wrestling, which used to like it's like that sort of like period between about 87 and about 91, 92, maybe.
Yeah.
Which that's kind of has the most sort of like means, you know what I mean? It's like early Simpsons.
Yeah.
It's WWF when the Ultimate Warrior was in it and the Undertaker came through,
Yeah.
and it's like late. It's like Friday the 13th Part 7, Part 8. Even though they were the shit ones,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched the better movies when I was older. So because obviously I wasn't watching Friday the 13th 1980 when I was 4 years old, you know. So it's like, you know, you kind of watch them when you're in the late 80s, early 90s. But
Yeah, I didn't see them in order.
no, I don't think anybody did.
No, I don't.
I mean-
I can't really remember. Like
I
the
rented
first
8,
ever one I watched.
9. Definitely, yeah, 7, 8, 9. I definitely 6, 7, 8, 9. I definitely rented.
Yeah. I think mine was probably Part 3. But
Oh,
I'm not 100% sure on it.
no, it's hard to think back that far.
They're probably quite yeah. Because
It is.
if you watch Part 3 first, and then you go back to watch 1, you're like, what the hell's going on? It's like if it's just before the internet, you're like, what?
Yeah.
What happened? Where's Jason? And then Part 2, Jason hasn't got a hockey mask. It's like,
No. But like I say, even just from Part 2, anyway, the beginning of Part 3, he's grown like an extra foot. It's looked like he's hit the gym or whatever, and it's like it's only been like a matter of hours.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's a
Shaved his head.
Yeah, so like went from being like 5'10" to like 6'6" in like the space of like a couple of weeks.
I was driving to 18 certificate films in 1991, so
Fran says Cineworld showed a few old school horrors like Friday the 13th and Hellraiser.
I keep missing ones. And
The late 80s and the early 90s weren't really that much different from each other. I would say if you watch very early 90s movies like Silence of the Lambs, the opening credits totally feel like 90s and a world away from like some of the opening credits from late 80s movies. I'd just say like, the early 90s had the look about it to me that was just totally felt like of its time. It did feel like a shift in the very early 90s. I don't mean with everything, but with certain things, especially. I just don't know. God, I mean, the early 90s now, if you look at some, like, especially like you look at the Signs of the Lambs, like those opening credits are so like, you can pinpoint it down to almost exactly the year. It's, you know what I mean? It's just so of its time. Yeah. It's like when you watch Twin Peaks.
Yeah,
those opening credits are just so like that 19. I mean, maybe because in hindsight, because I know that's when they came out. But I mean, it'll probably take another 20 years for me to pinpoint or things which are definitely specifically like 2020, 2021. Yeah. At the minute, I can't. Maybe that won't happen. I don't know, but
1990 was only 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Feels that way. The only one thing I know for definite about the 90s was it wasn't a great decade for horror.
No.
No.
No,
I mean, reach anywhere on the shelf.
My point.
I mean,
exactly.
the thing that like people can't like before Scream came out, people can't remember. It's like.
Yes, I love that movie.
Fucking awful. James Woods is such a prick in that film. I can't stand that.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's a 2000 film, isn't it?
I think it's 99,
It was 97 or 98, wasn't it?
No, American Psycho's not. It's about 99 or 2000.
I'll say 99.
Yeah, I picked up the wrong one.
It could be 2000, actually.
Yeah. It's on the cusp.
Yeah.
No, but like there was like nothing coming out on the cinema really in like 91 to about 95.
Yeah, it was
There's
definitely
very
straight to
there's
video stuff.
very little horror coming out in the cinema. You get your straight to DVD, well, it's not straight to video, I should say,
Yeah.
which was, range between okay to just like dog shit. But like I say, it was only when Scream came out that really that resurgence started with horror movies, and
I like that film. as well.
people
It
can't
changed-
really.
Yeah, Scream definitely changed the game up when it came to horror, whether you like it or not.
Hmm.
You know, and a lot tried to copy it, pretty much.
Yeah, especially with the
I like
covers.
that as well. Yeah,
It's like every cover, just like 5 attractive people staring at staring out at you.
Yeah.
but I do. I will
will
like
say,
all the
though-
ones that go on. You say.
No, I was going to say, sorry, I will say it was the 90s, so attractive people. It's fucking gone now. Attractive people in movies? Oh, no, we can't be having that.
I don't consider Deep Blue Sea a horror though.
I hate that film.
Oh, I love that movie.
Which one?
Deep Blue
Deep
Sea.
Blue Sea.
I don't like it.
It's awesome. Sure.
Yeah, I think it's great.
I actually saw somebody make a case for Deep Blue Sea being the greatest shark movie of all time, above
That is
Jaws.
not
It's
right.
like, come on.
Jaws.
Oh, my God.
No, you can't do that. As much as I do like Deep Blue Sea, hey,
Jaws
3 's a
3 is
classic.
awful. Jaws 3
Classic.
is horrendous. I think Jaws 4 is better than 3.
Still got the glasses.
Cliff says British wrestling in the 80s was pretty great with guys like Terry Rudge and Marty Jones. I have no idea who they are.
Yeah, I don't know.
I only know Big
I
Daddy,
don't know
Big
British.
Daddy and Giant
Big
Haystacks.
Daddy, Giant Haystacks is about the two names I know as well.
Yeah, they're the
Yeah.
only people I know.
Same.
And Kendo
That's why I
Nagasaki.
would have thought.
Yeah, and I remember the British wrestling being on a Saturday, and it was always on at like about 3:30 in the afternoon, 4
Yeah,
o'clock
yeah,
in the
yeah.
afternoon, something
Yeah.
like that.
And Big Daddy would always win.
Always.
Yeah.
Always win.
I don't think he ever took a hiding, did he?
No, I don't think so. It was
No, I
old
don't
school,
know.
wasn't it?
He was very old and fat.
Yeah.
Fran says it was the same for me with the James Bond films. Saw the Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton films before any of the Connerys.
Mm. Yeah.
I'm actually more before Connery, but I don't know.
I think it was just whatever came on when I was a kid. It was just
Yeah.
Yeah.
by the time I was like old enough to like watch, well, be aware of the James Bond movies. Roger Moore was pretty much finished anyway,
Yeah.
and obviously the Connery movies had all been done and dusted. So it was kind of just whatever he used to put on Christmas Day or New Year's Day, whatever. It was just random, and
Goldfinger.
I always loved Roger Moore. Roger Moore was like my go-to Bond.
Yeah, he was my hero.
Yeah, same for me as well. It was like when I was kind of really young, he was coming to the end of his kind of,
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I mean,
Bond. So the one I watched the most when I was like really young would have been like Octopussy and A View to a Kill and stuff like that. They were the
Yeah.
ones that I
Yeah.
probably watched them first, actually.
I saw View to the Kill in the cinema.
Wow.
I loved View to a Kill as a kid, but
Wow. Did you really?
see that the opening, like when the scene in Paris at the beginning of View to a Kill, that's kind of like where they upped the game. That kind of is like reminiscent of like some of those 90s action movies with the stunts and stuff, where they really
Yeah.
seem to like
Ronin.
up the game. And with the car, it's getting smashed, it gets cut in half. It's like
Yeah.
it's kind of, I mean, it wasn't like an amazing movie, but it was kind of like the movie that like really, I don't know, it was kind of like a precursor to like what they went for more with the later movies.
Mm.
Because I don't know what the budget was for View to a Kill, but it seemed, I mean, just the airship over the Golden Gate Bridge at the end. I mean, that must have cost a fair few quid. I
You'd think so.
Well, I think Roger Moore was friends with the mayor of San Francisco, so sort of helped.
Francis, I agree, mate. At least you can laugh at Jaws of Revenge. Christian says, "Good day, mates."
Good night, mate.
Yeah, Christian. I'm not actually Australian, Christian. I think he knows I'm English. Big Daddy was a heart attack in the making.
He
Yeah.
was.
It
Probably
was
was a smoker as well.
the budget for A View to a Kill was $30 million.
That's quite a lot back then.
Yeah.
Marcy was trying to change William Regal. Well, that's the thing. It's
Uh-huh.
like I was looking at the box office for Halloween 2018 before, because it was we'll probably get into like talking about Halloween,
course
being
we are.
bought by Miramax and
Yeah.
the TV show. Well, so the budget for Halloween 2018 was 10 million, and I think it made 260. This is dollars, so $10 million. What's that about? 7 million quid?
About the same.
I don't know what.
isn't
Maybe 10 million quid. I'm not sure, but and the movie made like $260 million.
Christ.
So, I mean, that's like a license to print money. If you can get the rights to that franchise, I mean, fucking hell. I mean, and the two sequels, obviously, like they cost. I mean, I don't understand how like Halloween Ends cost 30. The budget for that was 32 million, and it made like 108 million. So obviously, it cost a lot more to make and made a lot less. But I can't on the screen. I can't see where the $22 million went to make Halloween Ends over 2018.
Okay.
I mean, go to like a shitty fucking town, which just looks like it's on its arse. Film there. Get some fucking skinny little fucking beta male to beat up Michael Myers in a fucking sewer. So like that cost an extra $22 million, which I just don't understand. So,
No.
but I mean, the money to be made in horror movies is just like the potential for like profit is just
But
insane.
it's always been that way, Mike, though, hasn't it? I mean, they've always been pretty much cheap to make, and then just you can rake in a fortune with them. It's always been that way, and I think like kind of Blumhouse just found their market for doing that.
Absolutely.
Haven't they?
I mean, I don't know what their turnover is in terms of like profit, but I don't know if Blumhouse is owned by like another. You know the way like Marvel's owned by Disney, and then they're all. I mean, I don't know if Blumhouse is just Blumhouse, and it or if it's owned by a bigger company. But in terms of like,
sure. It always seems,
Jason Blumhouse is obviously the main guy, but
they always seem to be kind of connected to Universal a little bit, don't they? I've kind of noticed. So maybe might have something to do with Universal.
Yeah, I don't know if they're like a subsidiary of like of a bigger company, but like they've got a formula there which works, and it doesn't always work in terms of quality, but when they remind me of like, remember like back in the 80s, remember like Stock Aitken and Waterman who put out all like Jason Donovan, Kylie Minogue, they just had all these fucking artists, and they were they were making a fortune because they've just get any random fucking like attractive person, record some songs, and they'd more likely go to number one. And they might have had like a few duds, which would flop, but they had enough coming through.
Yeah, I think that's how Blumhouse does it. Because like,
I think because
Totally Killer.
Yeah,
because Blumhouse does put out some absolute shit, but put out what? Sorry, which one, Gareth? Sorry,
Totally Killer came out last month, and then that's Blumhouse.
Was that Blumhouse as well?
Yeah,
No.
I watched that today.
Yeah, I really like that. Did you like it?
I need to watch it again, mate. The initial kind of reaction to it is, it's all right. I'm pretty kind of just in the middle with it, but I think I need to watch it again, though.
I went in blind, which helped.
Yeah,
I didn't even know it was a time travel film until it's happened.
No, I kind of I knew the like the plot of it and all that, but I kind of enjoy like the it's because it's kind of like a little bit woke, but like taking the piss as well, because like she goes back and she's just offended, so it's kind of poking fun at, so it's kind of like works on both
it
levels.
pokes fun at both like 80s and now like I quite like that part of it. I need to watch it again, and then
I do like going back, and she's just like offended by everything she sees, but it's just
in the car.
Oh yeah, I mean, God bless the 80s. I mean, fucking hell. But
absolutely.
I mean, I had a good time with it, and I can totally see them doing some sort of sequel with that.
What made me laugh the most in that is with the mum in the car with the windows round up and she's just smoking cigarettes.
It's just the kids in the back,
and the two kids in the back just filled with smoke in the car. I need to watch it again, but Blumhouse just keep killing it, and like, well, they're making a fortune with Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, that's just
I mean,
that the box office at the moment.
That movie's streaming anyway, but it's still doing good business at the box office. I mean, fucking hell. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, that's insane.
Yeah,
I don't know how much money they then made last year, but
oh fucking hell.
Yeah, probably not much.
But did that go to streaming? Did that get a cinema release as well? And a
Not sure.
stream?
Definitely went straight to streaming.
Yeah.
Probably not for us.
Yeah.
It might have done in America.
I think it probably did cinema, in LA.
France, as long as you don't spend 400 million like they did for Exorcist, right? Oh, yeah. There's a story. Did you see the story about the guy who went to watch Exorcist? What's it called? The new Exorcist movie? Believer.
Yeah.
He went to the cinema and he fell asleep and he woke up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and the cinema was shut and it was all locked up. It's like he must have gone to like a late night show and he's just gone to Kip. And he's woke up at like 3 a.m. and he's just like, what the fuck? And he's locked in. It's like
yeah,
I expect Jamie Kiss got paid off for the last one.
For the third one.
Yeah, probably.
Dan, what's up, Dan? Dan's in the
Hey,
chat.
Dan.
Totally Killer just by the trailer gives me Stranger Things vibes, like how the 80s were hilarious, weren't they? It's playing up to the 80s tropes, which, I'm a sucker for that.
Yeah. It doesn't do it too much, though. It doesn't bat you over the head with it.
No. I mean, I wouldn't mind if they did. I'm just like, yeah. Dan says Totally Killer was fun. Not a top 10 of the year for me, but I enjoyed it more.
Yeah.
I thought it would.
I enjoyed it a lot more than I ever thought I would.
Yeah.
I thought it was an 80s styled thing. But...
When Evil Lurks I watched When Evil Lurks the other day. I liked it. I didn't like it as much as I was hoping to, but it was still. I think it's Mexican. It's either Mexican or Spanish. I'm pretty sure it's Mexican, like, but it was definitely different. I will say that.
I keep forgetting to watch it.
They Them was garbage.
It was awful.
Yeah, only kill off the bad guys. That's it. Only the baddies died in that movie. It's like nobody was like.
Yeah, it's easily forgettable. Kevin Bacon's return to slasher movies in the woods.
Yeah, I haven't even seen it, so I'm just staying far away from it, to be honest.
That guy could have woke up and found himself being spit roasted by homeless dude, then I'd still say he looked out sleeping through that movie.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that either.
Yeah, be locked in a cinema overnight. I'll just go to the popcorn section, just like stuff yourself.
It actually surprises me that.
Because, they go Argentinian.
Yeah, it actually surprises me that because I mean, when I was like, helping run a cinema and stuff, you always check the screen afterwards. So
yeah, especially
how we got left in there, how no one freaking spotted them is just.
Maybe some of these on the floor.
Some of these fucking screenings now, you go to the cinema like 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, in the evening, sorry, and it's for a smaller film. Like there'd be like you and like 3 other people. Yeah. And if you just like slump down and just like nod off it, it'd be probably quite easy just to admit. Because like, I sometimes wonder how cinemas cope. I mean, you've worked in the industry, Dave, like in the cinema business. So, but we've since really after Endgame, we've not really had any. Post-COVID, we've not had anything that really gets the people in. Maybe Oppenheimer and Barbie. Sorry, they're the only 2 movies that I think have really kind of like got everyone back in cinemas. Really, apart from that.
Yeah, it took COVID really did kind of like wipe out the cinema. I don't think, like you say, you've picked a couple of films there. I mean, what's the one there? Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Top Gun Maverick as well.
Made a killing for us. Kind of saved us in a weird sort of way, actually. But there hasn't been enough of them, like it was before, So unfortunately, cinema is struggling. Hopefully, it can find its feet again at some point. But COVID did.
Well, the Marvels is coming out. The Marvels, I'm sure, the Marvels will do amazing business. I mean, everybody wants to see Captain Marvel, and
I don't care. Oh, and also, the other one was the No Time to Die. Did fantastic as well. Yeah. So, kind of need more of them, really. But what do we think when it comes to like the Marvels and kind of like Marvel in general? Do you think this is it? Do you think it's game over for them?
The superhero genre is like it's hit its peak and now it's just on its steady
Kind of
decline
downward
now.
spiral in it.
Yeah, but I mean,
watched any of the TV shows recently.
it didn't have to be like that. They've just given into like sort of like political woke
Yeah, that's the problem.
commentary. I mean, it's just like I know I always bash on about this, but it's true. It's like your target audience doesn't want to see. I'm not going to say anymore because it's just everybody. It's like we want to see fucking Thor, Iron Man,
Yeah.
Captain America. Nobody wants to see like who's the one from that TV show, some like 4'5" girl who's like a big tough girl now, and nobody likes Captain Marvel because nobody likes Brie Larson because she's a
pretty much.
horrible, unlikable person with a chip on her shoulder. Well, she's got an entire bag of McCain's on her fucking shoulder. Fucking hell!
Yes.
It's just like you go for your target audience. Why are you fucking bowing down to like these fringe audience on Twitter? The vocal minority.
Yeah.
Who like kick and scream, like, oh, we need this, we need that, we need representation. No, if you want to make money, do what you were doing between 2008 and 2020
Yeah.
with the Marvel movies. Just do what you're doing. It's like the next James Bond movie. We all know the next James Bond is probably going to... I mean, I've got no problem with a black guy playing James Bond,
No,
but
not at all.
make him a fucking badass. Don't make him somebody who's crying all the time and fucking... make it... Idris Elba, like 10, 15 years ago, would have been perfect.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
make
brilliant.
him... Idris Elba hitting on women, being a badass. Not the sort of guy who's afraid to sort of chat a woman up. Fucking hell.
Basically being James Bond.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
the
there you go. That's
character.
a novel idea.
Ian Fleming's James Bond is they've taken obviously Roger Moore. What the original Ian Fleming's James Bond was a ruthless, cold-hearted killer. Now I know Roger they've gone with different versions of him because he's not always like that, but he's always been a womanizer.
Yeah.
Now the next Barbara Broccoli's come out and said that like they need to update it for a modern audience. That is like cancer to movie to take-ins at a box office, because as soon as people see that update for a modern audience, they're gonna go, okay, that's it, James Bond's done. That's it. Another fucking franchise is just we'll just give up on that one now.
It's Bond.
It would-
Bond.
Yeah, it would flop hard, mate. Literally, it would probably be the worst performing Bond in history of Bond movies if they did that.
Yeah, probably the most expensive as well.
Yeah,
Spend more and more money and make it more and more woke, and just watch it. We'll just burn that money.
do you think though, studios are finally getting to a point where they're starting to realise that maybe this isn't the best route? Like, it's not the best idea to
They
go
must
down anymore?
know. They must know by now, but they don't seem to care. It's like they don't seem to
ESG
care.
rating we need.
I mean, Disney.
Otherwise, they
Disney,
don't get
they're the
funding.
worst.
Disney they got rid of the CEO, brought the old guy back who was in charge during when they got Bob Iger during the golden era, the late 2010s.
Yeah.
And he's not done anything. He's not like thought, right, we're going to get rid of this shit now. We're just going to go back, focus on making good content, and making it. The problem is they've killed off Iron Man. They could bring him back with all this multiverse nonsense, which I hate all that stuff.
That's the rumor, isn't it? That they're thinking of bringing.
Nobody
back Captain
ever
America,
dies.
Iron Man. The thing is, man, I don't. I've stopped watching the Marvel movies. I've stopped anyway. But if they bring back Iron Man, it will just make his death and Endgame just completely just.
Yeah, well, it's like nobody ever
Whatever.
dies. If you bring this multiverse in and there's all these variations, nobody dies, so there's no consequences.
Yeah.
And like I say, it's like they built up slowly for the Marvel universe with like the Endgame. Thanos was brought in slowly as the big bad, and then with this phase 4, was it phase 4 or phase 5?
5 now.
But phase 4 were like the Eternals. They just brought in these new ultra powerful characters who were like even more powerful than Thanos, but nowhere to be seen during the events of like phase 3. They just like randomly turned up, and nobody cared about them. And it's like and you're just bringing in characters where it was like people people who maybe vaguely aware of Iron Man. Everybody knows who Captain America is, and Spider-Man and that, but people grew to love Iron Man. But then by Phase 4, they're just bringing in these characters who nobody gives a fuck about. It's like, who the fuck cares about characters in the Eternals?
Did you hear about the script that the cancelled for Blade? Do you hear what they were going to do with that?
No, don't tell. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yo,
tell me, but I'll probably.
You're gonna
don't make him cry.
Well, basically, from the rumor is from just listening to channels on YouTube and stuff, that Blade was basically going to be relegated to fourth lead of his own movie, and he was going to have a daughter, and basically the three main leads were all going to be women, basically.
Learning
in a Blade movie.
Yeah, I mean, at least the one good thing they can't do with Blade, at least they can't race swap him. So we're not going to get a white Blade because nobody wants to see that.
Starring Tom Hanks.
Yeah,
but he's but apparently the guy that was going to play Blade and everything, he weren't happy with it. He was like, no, we're not doing it. It's Blade. The movie's called Blade. Who's your main lead? Blade. Not Blade's daughter, not Blade's freaking wife
Blade.
or whatever.
Male Blade.
They did the same with
Kicking
Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Dan makes a good point here, which is something which fucking irks me.
And that's
big
another
time.
thing. Yeah.
I shouldn't have to watch multiple TV shows. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. The events of Ant-Man Quantumania. If you haven't seen the Loki season 1 TV show, there's bits which it's like I said on a previous stream. It's like homework now. It's like watching a Marvel movie. You've got to watch a TV show to follow. What the fuck?
Yeah.
No, fuck off of your fucking shitty TV shows. I don't want to watch your shitty TV shows. Star Wars or Marvel, they're all fucking atrocious. I've not seen that fucking Mandalorian. Oh my god, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, that was bad.
Absolutely shit. Obi-Wan Kenobi can't get through a force field fence in a desert when there's 1,000-foot fucking gap either side. Did you see that scene in Obi-Wan where he's it's like an electric gate, and he's trying to get his way. There's literally on either side of the gate. It's like it's just like an electric gate in a desert with nothing of either side, and he's trying to get through. And
it was the toll booth in Blazing Saddles.
This is fucking stupid. We've got Jess in the chat. What's up, Jess?
Hey.
Let's go down. They won't make a proper James Bond at this point. I was so bored with the last movie.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all.
It had parts that were good, but that's about it.
Yeah.
They don't seem to care. They don't want to admit they're wrong. But
No.
they'll never admit they're wrong. Fucking hell.
No.
They may try Hail Mary and pay Robert Downey Jr. record-breaking money to return, but I think it's too late now.
Yeah, they won't make money back.
Yeah, and Robert Downey Jr. now is is he 60 now? Is he?
Yeah,
he's close, mate.
He's not getting any younger, and he's made all the money in the world from that franchise. And I don't know what he's probably spending it on drugs. I don't know.
He's a vegan now, isn't he?
Is he all clean now? Is he?
He's all clean, completely.
Maybe all that money that was maybe tempted him to turn back to the dark side. I don't know. The Marvels, especially the way they did it, is not a movie a mass audience was wanting in the first place.
There's nothing in it. Well, they do bring back what's her name, Valkyrie from Thor Ragnarok. So that's
well, I thought that film was overrated. I thought Thor Ragnarok was overrated. I mean, and as for the last one, that was fucking awful.
That was awful.
I didn't watch the last one. I did like Ragnarok.
Terrible.
I thought Ragnarok was quite
I like it less each time I watch it.
Yeah.
So I don't watch it much.
I think the original Thor movie is the best of the Thor movies. I think.
I don't mind the second one.
Yeah, apart from the bad guys, really, the baddies a bit weak.
Not
but
much to do.
I didn't know Robert Downey.
Yeah, he's
in Oppenheimer.
Quite a major part, but not. I won't play it. I'm going to watch that tomorrow. Yeah,
I don't trust Disney Blade,
shouldn't have Blade or Daredevil. They're not. Although they are supposed to be making Blade R-rated now, but
Apparently so. It needs to be.
See, like, what's happening with Deadpool 3?
It's been
That's
delayed
it.
because of the strikes.
Because that's obviously now a Disney property, isn't it?
Yeah.
But Blade's
like-
not. I mean, sorry, Deadpool's not really PC, in terms of
No,
like.
it's supposed to be.
So if they make that if Deadpool goes like fucking woke, I'm just like no, I'm checking out. I'm
I'm
not
hoping
having
there's
that.
jokes about it.
I know
Yeah. I hope he makes out Ryan Reynolds like as Deadpool. I hope they poke fun at the other, like these, the other, for
Well,
being
exactly.
woke.
Made fun of Fox.
I hope they do that. If it's that self-aware, I hope he pokes fun at the MCU for going woke in a MCU movie. That'd be so good. Whether they'd have the balls to do that, I don't know. But
It
I'd
would
like
be
to
funny.
see that because
Yeah.
they're not afraid to take the piss out of their own. Because when you look at the X-Men, he constantly pokes fun at the X-Men
Yeah.
in the Deadpool movie. So.
Apparently, I read something. Apparently, it's the only Marvel movie that's out next year. Is Deadpool 3.
Was it?
Because they've all been delayed for the strikes.
Yeah.
Francis, I really wanted to like the Obi-Wan show, but I couldn't. I just don't give a monkeys about
Yeah,
Star
I
Wars
gave
anymore.
up after Obi-Wan
Yeah.
as well.
I never have cared about Star Wars, so it doesn't bother me.
I don't know whether it's just trying to introduce Star Wars again, like when you're old. Maybe just have the same. But I wanted to I liked Mandalorian the first couple of episodes, and then it just kind of felt like a bit of a chore. Just seemed to be like going from one place to doing them, and it felt like a bit like a video game. It was felt very sort of like formulaic, just like mission, next episode, do another mission for someone. I was like, apparently Andor is the best. If you're into old school Star Wars,
I
Andor
only
is
made
like
it
the
2
best.
episodes as well.
Yeah, it's more
not-
about the politics
not
of the
much happened.
Empire, which I quite like the sound of. But Dan says, I wouldn't mind if they started having fun with Bond again. I'm not saying go with a campy Roger Moore type character, but give him a smile back. Also, Bond is a womanizer. That's the character.
That's the
Exactly.
Yeah. Part of his character.
Scottish guy. Damn, Gareth, are you ever not on a live?
Yeah, I'm not as big a whore as this guy.
Yeah. If Scottish guy, if you're not subscribed to my channel, if you're just here because of him, please give me a subscription. I'm desperate.
This evening, and then this one, and then he was on Jeff's yesterday.
I was, yeah.
I used to stick my own channel.
What's the Death Wish 3? Absolutely
That's a
adore that
man
movie,
movie.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff's the new Gareth. I said he's got the formula down to a T.
Yeah,
now.
you were kissing his ass the other night, weren't you? Saying he was better than me.
Well, I'm not going to kiss you. I'll never kiss your ass. Maybe
Do you
if I'm
not know
very
how many
drunk,
subs I
maybe.
got?
I know. That's why I'm not going to kiss your ass. I'm going to kiss your ass when you have like 200 subs. Yeah, give it a couple of years, and Gareth will be he's like a galaxy expanding to the
Lose you.
distance. Just as we're
YouTube
like
dead
struggling with our hundreds of subscribers, Gareth disappears into the distance with his 5,000 subscribers, and then
What's that? I had 255 this month subscribers. Okay.
it's like DMing him about that live stream, and it's just silence.
I can block everyone.
All of a sudden, Gareth's like doing live streams of like fucking Nightwatch Zone or somebody, or someone with like 40,000 subscribers.
He didn't return my call.
Ahsoka was part. I've not watched Ahsoka. No interest in that.
I
think
hadn't
you've
seen
got-
Clone Wars. I didn't know who she
I think
was.
I've not watched the Star Wars cartoon, so I don't know her. He's sub to all. He's sub to all you. Thank you, Scottish guys.
He's a great guy.
Jeff been doing.
Oh,
some
I
good
see.
stuff.
It's all about Jeff now.
Yeah, it is. I've been calling him Jeff with a G for the last 6 months. And he was too polite. He was too polite to say that's not how you spell my name.
It was SJEFF as well. So
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah. Or was it
Blimey.
SJEF? Sorry, there's only one F though. But he uses the JEFF to make it easier for us English people.
Dan, if regarding the next Bond movie, if it's anything like the Bond novel that was released this year, don't hold up any hopes because that Bond novel is just insane. From what I've read.
Yeah.
Right,
I'm gonna go.
Okay.
I finished my drink.
Okay, buddy.
Bedtime.
When are you live next?
Tomorrow, Dempsey Makepeace, 7:30.
Ooh. I'll be sure to check that one out.
Happy birthday, Dave.
Right, man.
Cheers,
See you
mate.
later.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye.
Take
Bye.
care, mate.
Right. See you later, man. Remember comedy thrills? They used to be somewhat common, but you don't see them anymore. Yeah. There's a lot of things you don't see anymore in in the cinema or on movies in general. Jess says Mandalorian was decent. Obi-Wan wasn't awful, but it wasn't that good either. I don't think it was really the Obi-Wan story everyone wants to see. I thought Andor was boring. I might be the minority. Probably not the minority. I think it's just an acquired taste at Andor because I've not seen it, but it kind of seemed interesting to me that it wasn't really. I like the Empire and like that setting when the Empire were at the peak, like with the Emperor in control and rather than like this aftermath where they're just like remnants and stuff. But Night Gareth, lazy bastard. What is your ranking of the Bond actors?
Oh God, good question. Oh,
okay. While you're taking your time, I'll say
go on.
in reverse order: Lazenby, Dalton, Craig. No, hang on. Brosnan, Craig, Connery Moore.
Yeah, I'll go with Lazenby would be last for me. It's not. Dalton, and I actually do like Dalton as Bond as well. I actually quite like his.
Yeah,
Bond
he just didn't do enough. I think it was the darker, grittier Bond, but it's just 2 movies is like a little bit. There's not much to go on, really,
Yeah, I hope he could have carried on, to be honest with you. And I think he was a little bit ahead of his time with that Bond as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But I did like him as Bond, so I would go Lazenby, Dalton. I would probably go Craig as well, even though my favourite Bond movie is Casino Royale. That is my favourite. I absolutely love it. I would have him there, and then I would probably go Moore, Brosnan, Connery. For me.
Yeah.
I like Moore. I love Moore. I grew up with Roger Moore, but I think I wish Brosnan had better movies as Bond.
Yeah.
Like I like GoldenEye. But GoldenEye was brilliant. But after that, it just kind of dipped. It's a little bit similar to Daniel Craig. He started strong.
Yeah,
and then there's a
Casino
lot of
Royale is a great movie, but Quantum of Solace is just a.
It's shit. But a lot of people really like Skyfall. I'm in the minority on this. I don't dislike it, but I don't love it as much as what like nearly everyone else does.
Yeah.
But then I didn't like Spectre. I thought that was boring. And the last one, No Time to Die, I just thought was just far too long. I completely lost interest in watching that movie. So the last really great one for me is Casino Royale.
Yeah, Dan says he's gotten too old, but Gerard Butler would have been a good Bond. Yeah,
Probably would have been.
Butler's, he was at the wrong. I mean, he would at the time that Daniel Craig got the role. I think Gerard Butler would have been probably about 35, maybe.
Roughly.
I think Gerard Butler's in his early 50s. He's probably about early. Gerard Butler's like about 55 now, I think. So probably would have been,
but also
ideal.
Yeah, but also back then when Daniel Craig got the role, Henry Cavill, he was really young at the time. He was nearly close to getting it back then.
Henry Cavill would have been perfect in about 2015, I think. For Bond.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, mate. I think he's got to be the next Bond now. I don't
it's
see
too late.
anyone.
They're not going to have. And this is not like I don't want to be like controversial and like they're not going to go with. This sounds like. It's not going to. A white guy will not play the next Bond.
Okay.
No, I don't think. I think they're going to go with a black guy. And I ain't got a problem with that. I mean, I've not got a
at
problem
all.
with the only problem I've got is with a woman playing Bond.
Yeah,
That is just fucking commercial suicide. If they do that, they can just fucking just say goodbye to the money.
but then it's not James
But
Bond
like I say-
anymore, is it?
Well, no, but I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah,
I would not put it past them. But if they want to go for Black Bond, then there's plenty of like good options.
yeah.
But I just think that as much as I think Henry Cavill, I think his time has come and gone now. I think he is like sort of into his 40s now, I think, or nearly.
He
I
is.
don't know
yeah.
if
I think you could get a good. You could get a good 10 years out of him, though. You
a
could
guy
get
who
about
I'd
3,
love
4
to
movies.
see, the guy I'd love to see play James Bond is a guy called Theo James. He was in, I think it was the Maze Runner movies, or
I know who you're on about. Yeah,
guy. He played in some British dramas. The guy is like about 36, 37.
yeah,
The guy's fucking, the women love him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's tall, he's posh. He is James Bond, but I just don't think it would happen. I just don't think. And a lot of people are about this guy from Bridgerton to play James Bond.
yeah. Seen that.
He'd have to, I think he'd have to like bulk up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because he's very sort of slight, and the modern Bond is a little bit bit muscular. But I mean, he could easily do that, and he could easily do it. And he's tall. He's he's over 6 foot. So I could see him playing a role. But I mean, yeah, that's the only thing going against Henry Cavill. I think he is white, and it sounds stupid. It sounds crazy to say, but I think with the way it is now, and like I say, if they want to cast a black guy, fair enough. Just make sure you cast the right guy, and don't just go with something like. And like I say, Idris Elba would have been amazing.
He would have been.
But he's way too old now. Sorry,
he is. He is,
like,
and
he's 52, I think.
I know he is.
Like-
but honestly, he's my dream casting for Bond. Like I
Yeah.
would, if they announced him as James Bond tomorrow, I would be fucking made up. I really would be. So I think he would nail that role, man.
Yeah.
Nail it. But if I was a betting man, which I'm not because I never win bets, I would put me money. I would still put my money on Cavill having it. He's got to be up there, mate. He's got to be one of the favourites for it. It's got to be.
Well, he's doing some movie next year, which is kind of like I don't know if it's the same guy who directed Kingsman, but he's doing something along those lines.
Matthew Ford, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't, that might be, if he does that, maybe that's,
Well, if you watch like A Man from U.N.C.L.E., when I watched that, I thought he could be Bond. This guy.
yeah. I mean, he is James Bond. He's literally just James Bond, isn't he? You look
Pretty
at him, you go, James Bond.
James Bond,
Do you
yeah.
know what I mean? It's like, what is James Bond? Women want to sleep with him, men want to be him.
That's it.
That's Henry Cavill, isn't it?
Yeah, in a nutshell, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, basically that's it. Dan says Dalton wasn't in the best Bond movies, but he's really underrated as Bond.
I
Yeah.
like this Bond movies.
Scotsky guy says Brosnan's my fave, but I reckon your fave Bond is linked to your age. Brosnan was my Bond as a teenager. Seeing Goldeneye in the cinema as a 13-year-old was epic.
Yeah, man. I remember going to watch Goldeneye. I think I was 14, 15 when I went to watch Goldeneye at the cinema. And it was the first Bond movie I ever watched at the cinema. And it fucking blew me away, man. Loved it. So that's why I have a bit of a soft spot for Brosnan.
Yeah. Fran says Connery's definitive, but I always have most sentimental attachment to more. Jess says Brosnan 1, Connery 2, Lazenby 3. Controversial. Moore 4, Dalton 5, 6, Craig.
Fair enough.
Quantum of Solace the only Bond from my genuine sure.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I thought Lazenby was a fun Bond.
He's in a good Bond movie, Lazenby.
Yeah. But with one movie, it's just a bit difficult to.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I still think Clive Owen would have been a good Bond.
Yeah.
He's obviously way too old now, but
back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, he would definitely. Cavill is 41.
I still think he's gonna. I still think it's gonna be him, mate. I do.
What's up, Chris? I think he's taking the piss with Pete Davidson. Yeah.
Or The Rock.
yeah. Fucking hell, The Rock. Jesus.
It does need to be like a Brit or something.
Yeah,
it does.
we don't want. I don't want to hear like a forced accent. You know what I mean? It's
No.
like,
Hey, do you remember it was nearly fucking Burt Reynolds at one point?
God.
Do you
I
imagine?
mean, how tall's Burt Reynolds?
Oh, I
Is
don't
he
know.
like 5'8" or something? He's only small, isn't he?
I don't know. He was. Oh, let's have a
Bond's
look.
got to be like 6 foot plus. Burt Reynolds was.
He could be like.
I don't think Burt Reynolds. He's always struck me as like a short guy, Burt Reynolds, but
Let's see if I can actually find it.
yeah, Franz. I can't pronounce his name. I know the guy you mean. He's been in loads of things, but I don't know whether.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I don't,
not.
he's probably like 50 now, is he? No.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got to be.
Yeah,
It's not a bad
would
shout,
be
though.
awesome.
How come I can't find his height? Oh, hang on. Apparently, he was 5'11".
Yeah, it's a. I mean, I don't know how tall. It's a bit short for Bond for me. 5'11".
It was nearly Josh Brolin's dad. Auditioned for Bond as well, didn't he?
Did he?
Did you? Yeah. Did
Oh,
you ever-
James Brolin.
Yeah. Did you ever see like the audition thing
No.
that he did? He's weirdly enough, he's actually all right. To be fair. Yeah. But you know, I think that was after Connery left it. I think it was probably before they cast Roger
Yeah,
Moore.
it would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's like, I don't know if he's still alive, James Brolin. He's been in his like 80s now.
Yeah, I'm
But-
not too sure. Yeah. Tom Hardy
yeah,
would
Tom
have made
Hardy,
a good
yeah.
Bond back then. Yeah, I agree.
He's too old as well. He's like
Yeah, he is.
47, I think, 46. It's
sad,
hard.
but-
It's funny thinking that Tom Hardy's old.
I
but
know,
he's the same age as me.
but it's sad when you say that, isn't it? Oh, 47, he's too old
Yeah.
for the role, and it's like 47's not old. You know what I mean?
But I suppose when you're looking at a franchise which wants to run
Yeah.
for like 15 years, then
Yeah.
nobody wants
That's
to see a
fine.
60-year-old.
I'll be honest with you, mate. That's why I still think Cavill's all right. You know, I know he's 41, but you could get him 15. You know, I think he could do it.
Hmm.
I mean, how old
Obviously-
was Roger Moore when he got cast? He was in his late 40s when he got cast.
Well,
wasn't
when View to a Kill came out,
he was like 60
um,
or funny.
I think he's about 50. I think he was about 55. I think he's like the oldest. But
Yeah.
don't forget, actors looked older back in the 80s and the 70s than they do
That
now.
is
so-
very true. It was a harder life on it.
Yeah. Even if you were just an actor, like living like in a millionaire's mansion, it was still a harder life.
It was all that coffee and cigarettes.
Yeah, definitely. Francis, I was 12
Yeah.
going on 30 when I saw Goldeneye in the cinema. I still love the film, but I think Bronson peaked with the film in retrospect.
Yeah, probably right.
Somebody like Robert Pattinson would be a good Bond. His character in Tenet reminded me of Bond, and he's young enough. Yeah, Robert Pattinson's definitely young enough. I think he's like mid-30s.
Yeah, he will be now. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if I see him as. I don't know if he's like his personality really. I don't know if he'd be the charisma of Bond. I don't know, maybe. But you could have a darker Bond who's like less sort of, a
Yeah.
bit like a Dalton. He'd be like a bit more of a Dalton character. I think a bit more of a Dalton Bond. But
that's a tough one with Patterson. I can't see it. I can't see him as Bond. But that is not to say he couldn't do it, because the guy, I think, is a fucking great actor. I think he could pretty much do anything. I just visually can't see him
yeah,
as James Bond. But I was a little bit like that when he was cast as Batman, but I knew he had the talent to pull that off. And he did.
I'm not sure whether he'd even want to like bulk up for the role, because I mean, like Bond now is you expect him to be like physically imposing, and
Yeah.
I think when he did the Batman, I think he was refusing to like do like. I'm sure he refused to bulk up and do all that was needed to like, be as physically as intimidating as.
Yeah, I think he was kind of half joking with that, because when he had like his shirtless scene and that, he had looked like he was bigger.
I don't think he was
he's
doing
quite a-
steroids though.
No,
'Cause I know, like I know a lot of them do.
no, he was
Probably
bigger,
should.
but then you put that bat suit on that he has. He looks
Yeah.
imposing in that anyway.
Yeah. Any of
But,
these movie stars who say they don't do steroids when they get in shape in like 6 months are just liars.
complete liars, mate.
Zac Efron claiming not to do steroids is just insane.
Exactly.
It's just like, if you've ever seen it in Baywatch,
Yeah,
it's just like you cannot get
yeah.
that is physically impossible to achieve, in my opinion.
I would love The Rock just to come out and admit it.
Yeah,
Say,
I mean,
yeah.
if you look at The Rock in the 90s, his physique in WWF, WWE, whatever,
yeah,
and you look at him now, it's like he should look like what he does now then, and then now.
yeah,
I'm getting such an echo off my microphone. I don't know. Can you hear that?
yeah. I can hear you fine, mate.
No,
Yeah.
can you hear my echo though?
No.
I'm just getting okay. It's just getting a bit of an echo off the microphone. But just The Rock is he's on the juice, obviously. You know,
Oh,
everybody
yeah,
knows he's on it, but like I just wish he'd be honest with it. You know, like,
Yeah, yeah.
Arnie was always honest. He said like, I'm on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, the human body can only do so much, and when it looks, especially when you're 50, if it looks unnatural, then it probably is unnatural. You know.
Yeah.
And just be honest. Just don't pretend. It's like just like getting up at 4 a.m. and just like having chicken and rice and going to the gym like 5 hours.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any difference. If you're 50 years old, you're not going to look like that.
No, you're not.
But you know, I hope it doesn't sue me for saying I said he's on steroids.
It's all right. It's all right, mate.
It's like, because I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth, so it's like I'll win. I'll win the case. Okay, so let's try and move on to horror a little bit, because we talk about James Bond.
We have.
So, okay, so let's just jump onto this Halloween situation. You know, there's obviously Miramax have got the rights to it. For a TV show, they've got rights to like some TV show, movies. From what I can gather, it's like they paid a lot of money. A24 were in the running as well, because I think a lot of people were putting tweets out
Yeah, saying that.
saying A24 had it, and then they were all having to backtrack. And then obviously it was, you know, Miramax have got the rights, but in terms of like A24, like, would you have preferred them to get the rights over Miramax? What would an A24 Halloween TV show or movie look like? Because I'm a little bit like, I like A24, but I don't know whether that's the right home for like a Halloween, the franchise. If that, you know what I mean? If that makes sense, they're a little bit niche rather than.
You're a bit niche, yeah. I don't think Halloween would have suited them. Like, well, in saying that, is it A24 that's doing this Friday the 13th series, Crystal Lake?
The chat will tell us. I'm not entirely sure.
I'm not entirely sure neither.
Yeah.
I could be,
because that Crystal Lake, that any news on that just seems to have just died off. I don't know what's going on with it.
I don't know anything about it, mate.
I mean, there's one poster I could find like on the internet, and I don't know any. If Dan's still there, he'll tell us. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on with that TV show. It might be 24. I don't know, but
yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that myself. But yeah, no, I probably think it's better that they don't have it. That me and Max have got it. But I'm in the position now, mate, where I'm kind of
checked out.
I mean, yeah, If we don't see another Halloween in my lifetime, if we don't see another Halloween movie, it wouldn't bother me at all.
Yeah,
I think they're not going to wait. Obviously, if they bought the rights, they would have spent a lot of money on it. They're not going to wait. They're going to jump in and do whatever with Halloween. I feel like they need to wait at least a good 10 years.
They do need to wait, but the problem, like I say, when we were talking before about the box office for those three movies, the 2018 Kills and Ends. If you look at, if you combine like the total over the three movies, I think it cost about like less than 60 million to make all three movies, and I think the total box office for all three movies was like nearly 500 million.
Yeah.
So when you're making that much of a profit on something like which is as simple as a slasher movie,
it's kind of like strike while the iron's hot kind of thing.
The temptation's there. Michael Myers has never been hotter in terms of like, you know, if they were to buy the rights to Nightmare on Elm Street, good luck trying to fucking sell that. But with what they've got now, they know that it's still a hot property.
Yeah. So is the thought to do a TV series and not
There's
more
definitely
movies?
there's the rights for a TV show, so there's definitely I can definitely see a TV show, and this is not like Friday the 13th where there's all sorts of like issues with like who owns what. I mean, it's like they've got everything, I think, so they can do pretty much whatever they want. They can go back in time to young
Yeah.
Michael, go forward in time. They can do Halloween 3 if they want, I suppose. Do something set in Haddonfield. Doesn't have to be Michael. There's potential for all sorts of stuff.
There is. I
but-
think I said this, and I think I said it on your stream before. Actually, I would like to see them go down a Season of the Witch route. Do that instead of giving us like Michael Myers straight away. But then I don't think the general public would want that, because a lot of people think Halloween, Michael Myers.
Yeah.
So it's a hard one. I think a TV show for Halloween could be good. I'm not going to say that it wouldn't be. It probably will work. I don't know. For me, man, it's just Halloween Ends just completely left a sour taste in my mouth with the franchise.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's
So,
not the way
yeah.
not the way I would have got. I liked the way they killed Michael off. I think it was he needed some finality in that.
He's definitely not coming back.
Yeah,
from that.
that was probably the way to do it, rather than some stupid like ending where it's just like, oh well, I hope they don't try and go down the route of like, oh, at the end of 20, end of ends, he switched
Yeah.
his body round and it's just another body's being.
God,
Imagine
I know.
that. But
I know. God, man, I remember when I went to watch Halloween Resurrection. I was living in London at the time, and I was just so intrigued. I'm like, how was he back? Because
Yeah.
at the end of H2O, mate, that was it.
yeah.
I mean, he was dead.
Yeah.
That was Michael Myers. I don't care. It was
Yeah,
him.
yeah. Well,
Right.
I don't know. Like again, I'll obviously refer to Dan in the chat.
Yeah.
Like, was that the plan at the end of H2O? Was
I
it
don't
meant to be
think it was,
Michael,
mate.
or were they already looking to? Because don't forget, there was a 5-year gap between H2O and Resurrection, so
There was, yeah.
you would think that the intention was Michael,
That was it. Yeah. Well,
and
it was.
it was money that brought him back, but.
The thing is, right? So you're watching the end of that. He gets crushed, doesn't he, by like the tree thing, and then the fan crushes him. That's clearly Michael Myers, right? Clearly, because she calls Michael and he looks up, and it's the same eyes as he's had from the whole movie, which I thought was a little bit of a mistake in H2O. I like when you don't really see his eyes; it's just
Yeah.
darkness. But
Yeah, because it kind of gives a bit of a human emotion to him. You know what I mean?
exactly, and it was clearly him, mate. The thought was to kill it off. I think H2O was supposed to be like done, signed, sealed, done. That's it. And then it obviously did really well at the box office, made a lot of money. And then they wanted to do another one because, if I remember right, I think Jamie Lee Curtis did not want to do it unless she said, just kill me off straight away.
Yeah, I can't remember the what happened with Jamie Lee Curtis. Coming back to Resurrection, was she contracted to? Was she obligated to come back for that?
Yeah.
Was she?
She was, yeah.
So when she signed for H2O, she was. They said any sequel, she'd have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she just said, the only way I'll do this is if you kill me off
Yeah.
straight
yeah,
away. And that's what they
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
It's a bit of a. It's that's the one thing about the 2018. It brings her back and gives us some sort of like closure in terms of the character, because that
Yeah.
ending for her character was just terrible.
Yeah.
It was just so like, I mean, even worse than her off-screen death in the original
Yeah.
series. It's just like
Yeah.
to treat the character like that. Obviously, that's
no.
what she wants. Obviously, that's what she wanted, because she didn't want to be in that dog
She
shit
didn't want
film,
to do it. But
no,
I remember,
like-
mate, I remember being sat in that cinema when they explained like the end of H2O, like when they tried to say, oh no, that wasn't Michael Myers and everything. I literally sat there and just went, I knew instantly I was going to dislike this movie.
Yeah.
I just thought, no, come on, man. No. Just, yeah, whatever.
I've totally lost my train of thought now. So if we go with the TV show,
Yeah.
I don't know how they're gonna. I'm guessing it's gonna be something like along the lines of like a 6 episode, 1 hour thing, which like they could go any direction. They could go with like something which doesn't even involve Michael Myers. They could just do something like the lines of Halloween 3, where it's a different story every week. I don't think they're going to go with that. I think they're going to go for like the sort of like what makes money. But in terms of like who's going to stream it as well, I mean, if it's I don't understand. I'm not familiar with the ins and outs of like business, and if Miramax own the rights, has Miramax got ties to a particular streaming service? I don't know. So would it go on Paramount Plus or
if I was to
Netflix
have a guess, I would probably think it would go on Prime.
Yeah,
maybe.
I don't know whether I don't really have. I don't have Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So I don't. And well, occasionally I just dip into it if I get like a free month. But I don't know whether like certain like companies have got deals with certain streamers. So like if Miramax would put something on Prime, or other companies got a deal with Netflix or what. But I mean, I think it's fair to say that Shudder wouldn't get a look in with something of Halloween. No, there's no chance. There's Peacock. I mean, I could never get my head around Peacock streaming Halloween Kills.
Yeah.
Because Peacock to me is like, what the hell is Peacock?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, what is Peacock? It's like, it's not like a major streaming studio or service, and they did a deal with them, and they were showing it because, like, Halloween Ends was a movie I've got issues with, but I went to see it in the cinema.
Yeah.
But that was dropping on streaming the day of cinema, and it's like,
yeah,
that just seemed like such an odd decision to make.
I think it's because they knew, mate. They knew they had a bit of a dud there, to be honest with you. I think sometimes when you get them same day releases, it kind of says to me that they're not that confident in the product. For me.
Yeah, I get that, but I still don't understand. Like, there's not having confidence in the product, but then there's like, well, we'll try and make some money out of it. Maybe send it to streaming after 2 weeks, but to do it on day of release in this day and age where everybody, you don't even have to have, like you say, you don't have to have Peacock. There's a million and one websites there which will have it, to watch the stream in HD. It's you don't have to pay for Peacock. So that would seem like a strange one, but I mean, so whoever streams it will that could play a big part. If it's a major streaming service who get on board with it, whatever they got planned, then. But I think it's going to be a major streaming service because the appetite for Halloween hasn't gone away.
No,
it proved that with the last trilogy. It might have been diminishing returns with the following two films, but 2018 did like a lot of money. So it would.
Yeah, it did. I don't know how to. Yeah, you might be right. They might do 6 1-hour episodes, or they could go down the route the Continental did and maybe do 3 episodes that are an hour and a half long. I don't know. I'll probably go with 6 episodes, an hour each, maybe. Might base that around. I don't know. I don't know what they would do. I think they'd definitely use Michael Myers. Definitely.
Yeah. But I'd say bring him in gradually, and just build up the tension.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just rather than dropping him.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I'd love to see how they're doing it. I don't think they'll go down the route of showing him as a kid and growing up and all this, because I think that was one of the mistakes Rob Zombie did. Exactly.
No, that was terrible. I
think that was one of the mistakes, because the whole point of Michael Myers is that you're not supposed to know him. You're not supposed to treat him as a human being. He's just evil. He just is.
You don't get his point of view. You don't want his point of view.
Exactly. You don't want to see him growing up in a broken home or being bullied in school, because then that's not the point.
He's just like any other kid. He's just like any other fucked up kid who then goes on a rampage. We know what. You know what I mean? So
whereas Michael Myers is just evil. He's just born evil. That's the point of him. So it'll be surprising what route they go down and what they'll do. I mean, whatever they decide to do, I would watch it. I would give it a
Yeah.
go. And then it would all come down to the casting, wouldn't it? And if they cast it well, and then the first trailer comes out and it looks creepy and it looks good, then we're all going to be there, aren't we? We're all going to watch it.
Yeah, definitely.
So it'll be interesting to see what they do, man. I mean, we've got a while off now before. I mean, we could be 2 or 3 years away before they even have something ready, won't they? I would imagine.
Right, Dave. Pressure's on. Could you entertain the chat for 2 minutes while I just go for a piss?
I will do my
and
best.
throw a pizza in the oven. So just
So you're
entertain.
gonna-
So chat. Please throw some questions Dave's way just to keep him entertained. Just for
Right,
for 2 minutes. I'll be
I'll
back
have
in
a
2
look.
minutes.
Okay, go on. You're fine. All right, let's see what we got. So, I've got some here. That was a creepy sound. What's this one? Okay. I don't even know how to bloody work this one. Ah, right, okay. Let's see where we can go here. Elm Street is still on the train, blah blah blah. Halloween is gone, so the yeah. The problem with Elm Street is you need an actor with a strong personality, and there's only one Robert Englund. That is true. I'm not in the camp of no one can play Freddy Krueger other than Robert Englund. I love Robert Englund. He was great as Freddy. I prefer as Freddy Krueger from the earlier movies. Definitely part 1, part 2, part 3, where part 3 kind of started to toe the line a little bit of like comedic Freddy and dark Freddy, but it did it well enough. From part 4 upwards, I don't like Freddy Krueger in them movies at all. I don't think he's scary anymore. But the movies aren't that great anyway. But that has nothing to do with Robert Englund. I still think his performances are really good because that's what he's being told to do. But I'm not in the camp of only Robert Englund can play Freddy Krueger. I think there's potentially quite a few actors that would do a good job, if not better. And I know that's very controversial to say, but I would actually like to see Elm Street start again and get rebooted. I think we could get some really good Elm Street movies. I always liked how abrupt the ending of H2O was. His head is cut off with a shovel. The end. Absolutely, yeah. And Resurrection just shit all over that ending because it was a perfect ending. And I like with H2O, I quite like the last third of that movie. I think like the final battle between like Laurie and Michael and everything, the build up to that is brilliant. It's one of my favorite parts of H2O. And the ending's a great ending.
Sorry about that, Dave.
Nah, you're all right, mate. I'm just answering a couple of little questions here and there.
This is why you need to do a live stream. You see, you need to get your build up.
I don't want to step on any toes, mate. Use all the streamers. I'm not.
Well, you've got an established audience there. It's like it's all right.
It's all right, mate. I chat enough shit. It's okay. They don't need it on a live stream.
I can't be Frank Claw if every make wrestler match to throw off that. Yeah, the Iron Claw looks good.
Does look good actually.
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, he's definitely been on the juice, Efron. I don't care what he says.
Hugh Jackman's both like yeah, Hugh Jackman. Yeah. It's like Hugh Jackman's son of a rock. Is like he started off in the original X-Men, just like kind of like
just normal
standard size. Like when he was 30, by the time he's 50, he's just like shredded to the point where you're thinking, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. I mean, he's still in decent shape in the first X-Men movie. Don't get me wrong, right? But it's
just normal. It's just like achievable.
It's normal. Yeah. Very achievable. Yeah.
Oh, Cary Grant was once originally, he was going to play the role once because he felt he was already tall in his late 50s at the time. They wanted to sign for multiple films, so he said no. Yeah, Cary Grant is a. I suppose that's before my time. I don't think I've ever seen a Cary. Have I ever seen a Cary Grant movie? I don't know.
Well before our time, mate. Yes,
Sam Neill was close to being Bond. He did nothing like them. Yeah, Sam Neill would make
Yeah.
a good Bond. Definitely, he's got that creepy sort of like.
Yeah.
Especially if he pulls off the sort of like Event Horizon sort of Sam Neill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, but Bond, I'm very prone to
No
that.
worries, mate. But going back to that Sam Neill one, I think he would make a good Bond villain as well.
Yeah,
That he said there. Yeah.
definitely.
There you go. Yeah, I'm right. I
Yeah,
knew
Ben-
it was A24 doing the Friday the 13th show. So let's see how that works out first, mate. Before it might have been all right with Halloween.
Yeah, well, after the last two Halloweens, are obviously A24 take a shot. Yeah, I mean, I just with A24, like I said, I just think they should stick to what they do best, and I don't think I just don't think it'd work that well. I don't know whether it'd do good box office as well, or in terms of streaming either. Obviously, at the end of the day, it's all about making money, right? So, yeah, so strike. Yeah, so that strike's finished, has it? It's been going on for fucking ages.
Yeah, apparently so, mate. Yeah. Right. Okay. fair
Supposedly March at Crystal Lake. The new trailer is apparently ready to drop any time.
enough. I'm intrigued by this trailer,
Yeah,
man.
I am.
I just need
have
to
we-
see.
Have we got a time period? I've heard it's like 50s. Is it like Jason as a kid? That's what I've heard, but I don't know.
I've honest to God, I've no idea. Absolutely no idea, mate. I know nothing. I've heard so many different things, man. You know what I mean? Lorne seems to know. Remember when he would?
I was hoping Lorne would be. I was hoping Lorne would be in the chat actually, but he must be busy. But
Yeah. He seemed to have like a little bit of knowledge about it.
yeah, I'd see what's dropping next month. GTA 6 trailer.
Can't wait, mate. Can't wait. I've been waiting for this for years.
It's Miami, isn't it?
It looks like it's going to be
Yeah.
Vice City, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
hoping obviously you've got to go. You've got to expand beyond. Obviously, they'll do what they did with GTA 5. So they'll go beyond like
Yeah.
obviously LA. I'll say the LA because it's Los Angeles, but
Yeah.
like I don't know what I'd love to see them expand because if you're gonna do Florida, imagine just like doing like Disney World, and you could just go to Disney World and just like fucking cause carnage. You know what I mean? Imagine how fucking great that would be.
It would be
Do you
awesome.
know what I mean? Oh, that would be amazing because you can't just like Miami's not enough. But
Yeah.
it's 2023 and the game's going to be enormous, so they're going to have to go beyond the boundaries of like the city. But I don't know what the fuck else. I don't know what's in Florida apart from
No.
Disney World. I don't know what they do. I don't know what they.
I think a lot of the rumors that I've read, but like I say, they're only rumors, so take them with a pinch of salt. But they were saying like you could travel to another city as well. I don't think
Yeah.
they named what the city was, but I think you can actually get out of Vice City, Miami,
Yeah,
sometimes if you need to for missions and stuff, which would be great and it would make sense. But we know like the map of Vice City that it's going to be apparently it's like 5 times bigger than what GTA 5's map was, and that was pretty big.
really.
Apparently so,
Yeah.
yeah. So it'll be,
Well, I mean,
be
that's a
interesting
10-year-old
to see.
game, isn't it?
I know,
That game's 10 years old. It's like,
it's crazy, isn't it?
and
I
the
remember-
first the trailer dropped. The first trailer dropped for GTA 5 in 2011.
Yeah.
12 years ago. Because
Yeah.
I remember watching it. Like I remember like going on to the, like I was with my lad who's like he's like 20 now.
Yeah.
I remember we watched the trailer for GTA 5 in 2011 on their website, and he would have only been eight at the time. He was playing GTA at the time. I was a responsible parent. He was playing GTA San Andreas when he was like 5 years old. He didn't kill anyone. He didn't
No,
go
he
and
did-
create any. You know what I mean? It's like it's
he
almost
did
as if
alright.
like video games don't create violent people. It's
Weird,
funny
that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Maybe
It's
it's
like-
something.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like there's something pre-programmed in them to make them fucked up. You know, it's almost as if
Yeah,
like
yeah.
not watching violent movies and violent video games makes people violent.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
It's like I really enjoyed the Manhunt
You know what I mean?
movies. It did make me go out and batter any homeless people. So I'm all,
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
know.
I didn't put any plastic bags over anyone's head and choke them out. Do you know?
Exactly.
But yeah, looking forward to that. I'm looking
I
forward
am
to see
very
what
much
they do
looking
with the
forward
GTA
to.
6.
Yeah,
Like,
very much looking
um,
forward to it.
Fran says, "What would the Halloween TV show be like? It might work as an anthology show like Tales from the Crypt. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Um,
Hmm.
they could make it like
It's a route they
like
could go
American Horror
down.
Story as well. Like, like American Horror Story. Like every season's like a different take on,
Yeah,
eh,
it'll
but
be
it's the
interesting.
rights
I
to
just think,
Halloween.
yeah, they're going to use Michael Myers, mate. He's the selling point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they haven't even announced the case yet, right? I don't no.
Mm.
Just leave them alone. Um, Elm Street has done it. Elm Street's just dead. It's just sad.
Well,
Elm Street is just gone.
I spoke about this a little
It's
bit. I don't think it is, man. I really do think you could bring Elm Street back. It all depends on the talent you'll have attached to it. Like, I, 'cause I was, there was another comment there saying, pretty much saying, oh, Freddy Krueger needs personality. There's only one person like Robert Englund that could play. I'm not in that camp. I love Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. Don't get me wrong. And I said this before. I said I prefer him more in the earlier Elm Street movies than the later ones.
yeah, the darker ones. Yeah.
Freddy Krueger, yeah. But I'm not in the camp of only Robert Englund can play Freddy. I think there are actors out there now that would do a good job as Freddy Krueger, if not better, with good material.
Yeah.
And I know that's a bit sacrilege to say with Elm Street fans because a lot of them can't look past Robert Englund at all. Yeah, you're going to have to at some point because it is going to come back at some stage. It is. The property's too popular. And I would love to see it come back. But like I say, it would depend on the talent attached to it.
It's been 13 years.
Yeah.
It's the longer it goes on, though, the more people who are attached to that franchise, it's going to wane, and it's like, so they need to like.
It will wane a little bit, mate, but like it's always, especially with a younger audience as well. Like horror will always attract an audience.
Yeah.
Like all they've got to do is make a good movie, put out a fucking shit hot trailer, and the buzz will be there. But like I say, it just needs it needs a good script, good director, decent actors in it, and I think Elm Street would be straight back on the map, mate. I really do.
Fran says the problem with Elm Street is you need an actor with a strong personality. There's only one Robert Englund. Obviously, Robert Englund he's way too old now. So I mean, you need someone. Like guys like 80.
Yeah.
That's just out of the question.
Yeah.
Ends Dammer's Halloween. If you ask me, that film was awful. Yeah, well, we all agree
Agreed,
on that
Sean.
one.
Yeah.
I always like how abrupt the ending of H2O was. His head's cut off with a shovel at the end.
The end, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that is There's no like sort of like big, long sort of that's death. That's how death is. Head off.
And like I said,
dead.
like I like the final third of H2O between Michael Myers and Jamie Lee Curtis. Like their little battle that they have. I think it's brilliant in that movie.
And Dan says Taking Shape is a good book that focuses on the unmade Halloween scripts. So I'd like to see that. Look into that. Because I'm not aware of like what the unmade Halloween scripts really focused on.
There was one I think I know about which was going to be set after Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. So I think they got the guys to write the script that did a couple of the Saw movies that they ended up doing the Collector and the Collection and all them. I think they wrote a script for Halloween and it was very close to being like greenlit. I forget what they actually had a name for it as well, and I can't remember what it was called. But it sounded interesting what they were going to do with it. I forgot what the name of the movie. It was Halloween something, obviously Halloween, but I forget what like the second name was. But it was supposed to be set after Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, I believe, or maybe the first one, but they were going to sod the second one off. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
What's
up, Jamie? It's nice to see you on the chat.
How you doing, Jamie?
Hope things are all good. Padded room, lol, that's a joke. I probably use one. Oh well. Hopefully, watching us two ugly Brits squalor in Put you in a better mood. However things are going for you. I hope you're all right. Jonathan, how he feels about England, Jeff Slow. Robert England still play Freddie.
No. Come on, no, we couldn't. Well, he could, but would you want it? Would you want to? Would you want? No. Look, no.
I mean, I don't know how much he'd charge. I mean, he charges enough for a fucking autograph. So, I mean, God only knows what he'd charge for to appear in a movie. Fucking hell.
Yeah. There'd be no point in doing another one because it's not going to happen for probably the simple reason.
If they want some sort of like franchise going forward, then
exactly.
He's going to be dead in a few years. I mean, that's just the cold hard facts. I mean, I'm not trying to like say wish ill upon him, but if the guy's like in his early 80s, which I think he is by now, or like at least 80, it's just that's just the way it is. Dan says favorite kind of pizza. Well, I've got pepperoni in the oven, but
nice.
I just like as much meat on it as possible.
Yeah,
and maybe a bit of pineapple on top as well.
Yeah, man, I'm in the camp, mate. I quite like a Hawaiian pizza, mate.
Pineapple's a controversial topic on pizza because a lot of people like think it's just like sacrilege, but you know, I love pineapple on pizza. I'm sorry, but you know,
same. I like Hawaiian
I've got a problem
pizza.
with it. Yeah,
I like barbecue chicken, but I'm prone to like I'll always go for kind of like a meat feast. Same
but
as you, mate.
what sauce though? Barbecue, tomato. I like
probably barbecue.
I'll do either. Barry Nelson as James Bond in 1954 TV movie Casino.
Yeah.
Is that the one which is that 54? Really? Is that like the very first James
I think
Bond?
He was the first Bond. Yeah.
Okay. Freddie needs to go back to his roots. The wisecracking Freddie won't work now.
Yep, absolutely agree. That's another thing with if they do a new Elm Street, it would have to be dark. No jokey Freddy, no one-liners, no. Basically, what Freddy Krueger was, I would say more so in part 2 than anything else.
Yeah, obviously the 2's like a bit of a. I mean, he comes into the real world as well, which it doesn't really fit in anything with the.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But as Freddy Krueger as the character is pretty terrifying in that movie. There's no jokes about him. There's no fucking. You know, and that's if they're going to do a new one, that's how you go with him. And maybe change up his look a little bit. I mean, I quite like the look of Freddy in New Nightmare. You know, with like the jacket, long jacket. I mean, maybe have a jacket on. You know, just change him up a little bit.
Yeah,
maybe do something like that.
Classic pepperoni for Jess. BLT without the LT. That sounds like my sort of man. You know. Yeah.
Yeah. Damn right.
Resurrection's Dan's favourite. Love Busta Rhymes doing his karate. Yeah, Busta Rhymes. Shout out Busta Rhymes.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
The more annoying LL Cool J, as I like to call him. That's fucking Busta Rhymes, man.
Oh God.
Did he fucking insist? Did he insist on that in that film? Like, I'm just gonna do some fucking like
come through on Michael Myers. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
I'm gonna drop kick him through a window. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. And there's a point in that movie that doesn't make any sense. So when Busta Rhymes is dressed up as Michael Myers, he bumps into Michael Myers himself in the house. And he starts going like, no, I'm dressed up as Michael Myers. Oh, no, you got... And it's Michael Myers himself. Michael Myers just turns around and walks away from him.
Yeah.
It's like, no. Like, what? Fucking makes
and
no
how
sense.
big is the house?
Exactly.
It's just like this. The house is enormous, but it's like the TARDIS. It's like it's just this fucking house, and it's like a mansion inside it.
And they're not hearing each other screaming or anything when they're getting attacked, because the house ain't that big, unless they use the house from Halloween 5, which is completely fucking different than the Myers house. I mean, that's big enough. But
well, I think the original Exorcist Halloween house. You know, when in the original film when he stands in the doorway and he watches her walk away. I'm sure the house was on when sold for like over $1 million or something. You know.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's maybe a mega fan has purchased it. I don't know
Yeah.
whether maybe it's just real estate there because it is like in LA, so it's probably expensive, but
Maybe.
it sold for a lot of money. Sean says, I take it Exorcist Believer was Mike's fate. I've not watched Exorcist Believer, and I've got no intention of watching Exorcist Believer whatsoever.
I think the film's okay. It's all right. But I'm coming from a place where, like, I like the Exorcist movie. I love the Exorcist 3, as you know, but I'm not like a die hard like Exorcist fan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though I do think the film is absolutely fantastic. So I could watch The Exorcist Believer and just not have The Exorcist like in my head at all. And I watched it and I thought it was okay. I'm not going to lie and tell you it was great or good or whatever, but I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as what people are saying about it.
Is it better than 2? Because everybody shits on 2.
It's yes, yeah. I mean, the easy answer is yes. It is better than 2, yeah.
Yeah, Robert Englund charges a couple of $100 now for a photo and autograph combo. So
yeah, suck that. Don't give these people money.
No,
that's one thing. When I went to New York Comic Con, right? I was thinking of getting some photos and some autographs, and had like Chris Evans was there, Captain America, Loki, Tom Hiddleston, Hugh McGregor. They were all charging.
A little bit better than the Comic Cons we have in the UK. Then if you got Tom Hiddleston,
a little bit.
Chris Evans there, fucking hell.
But they were in like a special kind of hall. You had to go to like they were kind of out the way. But
why
they
are
were
they
charging
doing that with the money they've made? It's like, why are they doing
exactly. But they're charging stupid money. I think like Captain America was like $150 maybe or something like that. And I'm thinking, I am not giving millionaires fucking money to sign a piece of paper for me or to have a photo.
If you told them in a restaurant and collared them and just went, any chance of a selfie, they'd probably agree.
Yeah, yeah.
And you get it for nothing.
But like, so you had like them big A-listers were like kind of in there, but then in like the main kind of hall that you could go in were like the comics were and just stalls everywhere, toys, everything.
Yeah.
I mean, they had like Danielle Harris was there. I walked past her. I think she was charging like maybe $40-$50 or whatever.
Yeah.
I walked past a few old school WWF wrestlers that I was more starstruck with them than anyone else. Like I walked past Jake the Snake. I was
fucking hell, is Jake the Snake still alive?
Just about. There was like Matt Hardy was there. I saw the $1 Million Man. He couldn't look less fucking interested if he tried.
Yeah. I can imagine.
Yeah.
The $1 Million Man, the guy who is so rich he can buy anything.
Yeah.
It's like
he's
I know it's a character, but he's at a Comic Con like taking money for autographs. It's just like
it was just seeing some guy. I saw the Dudley Boys were there. So them Sean Astin, that's in Lord of the Rings and Goonies.
Yeah.
He wasn't in like the big hall with the other boys. He was in the main hall with everyone else. But he had a massive queue. Like, but I think he was charging like $60 and stuff. Who else did I see? Oh, weirdly enough, I saw. Have you ever seen? You probably haven't, man. It's a bit obscure. But have you ever seen the movie called The Last Dragon that came out in the 80s?
No.
It was like it's so bad. But anyway, the main lead in that, I think he's only ever done one movie. He was there with all these like Last Dragon pictures behind him and everything.
Trying to stay relevant.
Yeah, pretty much. And then a couple like Power Rangers and stuff like that were there. But yeah, man, there's no way I could pay like. I was close to getting Danielle Harris, to be honest with you. I kind of walked past her a couple of times and I thought, should I get an autograph? But then I'm thinking, I'm not giving her $40 fucking.
Was Joseph there?
Well,
Joseph was there with like about $5,000 just paying.
God bless him. No, he wasn't there. No, God love him. I think he's seeing her soon. Anyway, I think he was telling me. I think she's going to be at somewhere like close to where he is in America that he's going. So, yeah.
James says Asian King asked me for a hug, and I hugged her. That was awesome. So it's not all bad.
Cool. Yeah.
Agent's cool. Like Story's pretty interesting.
My mate, when he went to Liverpool Comic Con last year, he fucking.
Is that when we went for the pints?
Yeah, Steve.
Yeah.
He fucking hated Corey Feldman. fucking hated him.
Yeah, I think most people do.
He said he was a right fucking tosser.
Yeah, he's a fucking Cody Feldman's a fucking prick.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, he's just is he ever like actually sort of fully like revealed all the shit that went? Because I seem to remember like he was going to drop all this information about
I think he
Hollywood.
did, yeah, and it
Did,
had
but
kind of
wasn't it behind the paywall as well? Like it's like you had to pay like to watch it. I was like, oh
yeah.
come on, man!
But
Just like
it came out who we mentioned and stuff, and yeah, don't know whether I should fucking say it like, but he mentioned a few people that were a bit kind of surprised.
Charlie Sheen.
Well, I didn't want to. See, he was the biggest one, wasn't
Yeah,
he? Yeah. So,
not really surprised with Charlie Sheen. To be fair,
I don't know, man. I love 2.5 Men. I wish it ain't true.
yeah, Feldman's a douche.
Yeah, they honestly, mate, like Steve, he was fucking
Yeah,
with him.
he's the perfect example of someone who's grown up in the Hollywood system and it's just like it's totally, it's ate him up and spat him out, and he's just completely fucked up from it.
Yeah,
You know,
pretty
just
much.
like you need a normal childhood. If you have that sort of childhood, it's gonna just fuck you up big time.
Yeah, I remember he got I remember he saying something when he remade Friday the 13th. He got like really upset that he wasn't asked to be in it, and it's like, well, why the fuck would they ask you to be in it for?
Yeah.
I mean, when I think of what's his character's name? Fucking Jarvis, fucking Tommy Jarvis. Weirdly enough, I don't think of Corey Feldman. I think of the other guy from Part 6.
6, yeah.
Yeah,
I think most people do. It's like even though it's the Tommy Jarvis trilogy, I think people think of it's usually Tom Matthews first, then Corey Feldman, and then
that's
the guy
right.
whose name escapes me, who's
completely escapes
in
me as
Part
well.
5.
I don't even know his name myself.
Okay, just very quickly, I'll just get my Pete out the oven. If you can just entertain the chat, I'll be 2 seconds.
I will do my best. Let's see. Feldman is a tosser for sure. Yeah, apparently so. What the fuck happened to Corey Feldman? He used to be cool. Yeah, man, I just think, like Mike says, just the Hollywood system just used them up and spit them out. But what happened was, with me mate went to watch. He was supposed to go and like meet him, get a photo, and get an autograph. I think on like the Friday or the Saturday or something. And like last minute, there was a massive queue for Corey Feldman. Then last minute, he just didn't show up. He just didn't turn up, and then just put it off till the next day. And like there was people waiting in the queue for like, believe it or not, for like hours. So I believe, and me mate was absolutely fuming. So he went back the next day, and when he eventually got up to like kind of meet him, have a photo with him, an autograph, whatever, he just said he was just not a very nice person. Just wouldn't look you in the eye, didn't pay you any attention, just like he did not want to be there whatsoever. Like he just didn't care. So yeah, it's a shame to hear that, but I'm not completely surprised really. Tom Matthews is Jarvis. Yeah, he is pretty much, mate. I agree with you. Mouth used to be my favourite in Goonies, but now I prefer Chunk. Oh, Chunk. Chunk was always my my favourite massively. Well, there you go. I can actually select it as well. Happy days. I didn't even know that. I've never used this before, guys, so bear with me. There you go. Can I press that? No, not working anymore. Oh, bad times. Thought I had it working then. I don't know what I've done. What's this one, Jamie? David Arquette was much shorter than I was expecting. Is he? Is he quite small? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at how tall David Arquette is. David Arquette. Height.
I'm back.
There you go. I'm just looking at David Arquette's height. I'm just seeing how
About
Oh, he's-
5'10".
it's 5'10". Yeah, well, it's not too
I'd say
bad.
that.
Yeah, I thought he was a bit taller than that, to be honest with
Why are
you.
you looking at David Arquette's height?
Oh, there's a thing in there just there. Jamie said David Arquette was much shorter than I was expecting. I was like, I thought he was. I don't know. I had it in my head. He was like 6 foot or something.
Okay, don't forget David Arquette was like when he died in Scream 5.
Yeah,
The killer was like that girl who was like about
yeah. It doesn't
90,
make sense.
90 pounds. It's like, yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I know. I always found that quite funny, especially in the Scream movies when they reveal who the killers are, and they're like, "There's no way you were Ghostface. Absolutely no
No.
way."
That's the problem with Ghostface when you got like two different killers and the two. I mean, obviously there's like you think they look the same size when you got the two different killers, but one's like it's like Scream 2.
Yeah,
Like you've got the mother of Billy,
yeah,
who's like just like some like 55-year-old woman who's like 5'1", and then you've got Fingio, the guy. Oh, his name escapes me. You know, he's
yeah.
in-
I know you're on about.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
a big guy. You know, it's like
Yeah.
but they were the same people. You know, come on.
Same thing. I'm with you on that one. Oh, I'm going to do the same, mate. I'm going to leave you for like 1 minute and then I shall be back.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel bad for how they treated them. I didn't want Dewey to die in Scream at all. He was my favourite character.
Oh, hello. Tell you what, I will just I'll send you the link if you want to jump on. Sorry, ignoring the chat. I've sent you the link, Lorne, if you want to jump on. More than welcome. I don't know why, but I imagine he was really tall. David Arquette, tall. No, because when you watch him in Scream 1 with Stu, I mean, Stu's tall. Is anyone here seeing Scream 7 in the cinema? I don't think I can force myself. I probably will go and see it in the cinema.
Yeah, yeah, I probably will do. I mean, I've watched like most of them at the cinema now, so yeah, I probably will. Even though I weren't such a huge fan of the last Scream movie, it was a bit of a letdown for me.
Scream 6 was just. I mean, I had problems with 5, but I do like the small town setting of 5.
Yeah.
Like going back to 1. And setting 6 in like just New York, and it never really felt like New York either. It just felt like some sort of like generic city.
Yeah. And I thought like the reveal of the killers and what it was for Scream 6,
it's like we've got 3 killers now.
Yeah.
You know, it's like what next? Is it going to be like 4?
5? Yeah. I
It's
like
just
I like the opening of the movie. I thought the opening was really strong of the last Scream movie. I was pretty intrigued by it. I was like, right, well, that's different. That hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
So I quite like that aspect of it.
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
It just kind of went rapidly downhill for me. And I did like, though, how this particular Ghostface was pretty brutal. He seemed to be like more brutal than the other ones that we had. But yeah, ultimately it was just, I don't know. I think I was kind of expecting more from it, maybe. Like it was going to tie in more of the other movies, more than what it did. Especially when they had like all the different like Ghostface masks and like everything from all the different films were all there. And then it just turned out to be it was his fucking dad and his spoiler alert, by the way.
I actually thought I always thought Scream 4 was like the bloodiest. I thought Scream 4 was quite brutal.
Yeah, Scream 4 is, yeah.
But it's certainly more than
I like
5.
it. Yeah, yeah. Scream 4 is one of my favourite ones.
Sorry, I'm trying to talk and eat pizza. Didn't let me down look scary and mean, so I skipped them. I've got a Gene Roland movie planned for a Scream 2-3 Region 3 this Monday.
Right.
Anyone remember Eight Legged Feet with Arquette? Yes.
Yes, yeah, I enjoyed it. I haven't seen it for a long, long time though, but I remember having fun with it.
Sean refuses to watch Scream 6 because Neve Campbell isn't in it.
It 100% missed hearing it as well.
She might come back for 7. Hang on. Do we know whether she is 7? When's 7 coming out? Is it next year?
I don't. It'll be 2025, I'd imagine.
Because I've not heard anything regarding Neve Campbell, whether she's going to come back.
Yeah,
Or Courtney Cox for that matter. Because Courtney Cox is still alive. So
yeah. Whereas I
Um,
kind of, weirdly enough, I kind of wanted her to die in the last one. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to happen. But no, I think they need her back. It missed her. It actually did miss Sidney Prescott.
Ben says, did you hear the news that Terrifier 3 lost money from studios for its controversial opening scene? Now, I don't know what this scene is.
Right. Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah, yeah. It's
You see it?
yeah, I loved it. Yeah, you can find it online easy enough, mate.
All right, okay.
I don't know whether it's going to be an opening scene. I think it was made to like show off what they're going to do with Terrifier 3, like give you a hint of when it's set.
Is this just the short trailer or?
Yeah, it's basically.
So
Yeah, I don't.
Is this the one with the young girl?
It's I don't know. I can't remember whether it's a girl or a boy.
He's like Father Christmas, and he's like,
yeah.
but you don't see anything like happen.
You don't see him do anything, but it's
So-
it's very heavily implied that he butchered the kid,
Yeah.
and then he sat in the chair drinking milk and eating cookies and stuff. Yeah, but these fucking this is another thing that baffles me though. If these studios were like, yeah, well, we're interested in Terrifier 3, and then they see this what's shot for like the teaser for Terrifier 3, and then they go, oh no, we can't do that. It's like, well, have you not fucking seen exactly? Yeah. Have you not fucking seen Terrifier 1 or 2 then? Because if you have, you know exactly what you're going to get. Here he is.
Good morning.
How you doing, mate? You all right?
I'm alrightish.
Somebody's phone's ringing.
Yeah, no worries, mate. You all right? But yeah. I actually quite liked it. Just to go back to like what the teasing with Terrifier 3. Anyway, I like the fact that it's going to be set at Christmas. I've heard some people complain about that, but to me, it just great. Why not?
So it's obviously going to be getting like maybe a December release for 2024.
I believe it's still in October, late October.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but it's set at Christmas. Yeah, I think it's going to be more of a wider release as well. I'm kind of hoping that we get it in cinemas as well.
Yeah, I think we might do.
Yeah, I think we will. I think we will. Because I was a bit gutted that we didn't get fucking Terrifier 2, to be honest with you. I was like, why are we not getting this in fucking cinemas for?
Terrifier 2, somebody uploaded an HD version of it to YouTube like the day of release.
That's right.
Because I watched it on YouTube because I didn't know where to watch it. I don't know. I can't remember who was even streaming it. It didn't get a cinema release. I was like, fuck me. So somebody's like, I was like, that very rarely happens on YouTube. But I was like, you know what? I need to watch the film because I wasn't a massive fan of the first film anyway.
Yeah.
But everyone was raving about this film, and I knew it was going to be a long one. And I was like, oh, fucking hell, 2 hour, 15-minute movie. I was like, it could have been trimmed by a good half an hour, I think. I mean, it's like having if you've got a movie like that, which is essentially it's a slasher movie, if you've got like great actors and, who can carry a movie, this movie didn't really have that. I mean, it's basically about Art the Clown and what he gets up to.
He's the main character, mate, at the end of the day. Yeah.
So I don't know why they went with that runtime. I really don't. But I mean, I found it more comical than the original. Like the major controversial kill in that movie is obviously when where he goes into the woman's house, he like rips her arms off and all that. And,
Oh God, yeah.
but that was nowhere near as disturbing as the hacksaw scene in the first. That was way
movie.
worse. That was way more like, oh my God. That didn't really faze me, that scene in 2. I was just like laughing. I thought it was it's funny.
It's just so over the top in it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's almost like too over the top. I don't know. Does Terrifier go? Does Terrifier 2 go too sort of? I don't know. I'll ask for Lorne. What's your opinion on Terrifier 2?
It's a movie.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like a glowing.
No, you know what? There's nothing wrong with those movies. They're just they're fine. I get a little like weirded out when people like call them like, I don't know, the movie series of a new generation or something. It's like, I just don't see it. I don't see anything in them that's like, I don't know. It's not a sea change, but they're fine. I liked both films. I don't think I'll revisit either of them often. I don't find them shocking at all. I don't know what people are watching on the regular that they find that to be extreme.
Yeah.
Because there's so much more extreme stuff out there. And yeah, you get to see it on a big screen if you're, at least we did, but that's not even that unusual anymore. There's some pretty extreme stuff that's getting regular, theatrical releases now. So I like them. They're fine. I think clowns are kind of weak sauce usually as a horror villain. The actor's doing as much as he possibly can with it, but it's still a clown.
Yeah. I think in terms of like what you consider extreme as well, it's like you could be the most extremely out there gore possible. If it's a giant clown doing it, then it kind of takes away from like true horror.
So
like what
don't you feel like gore is weird because, and I'm not talking about the real stuff, right? But gore is weird because you can get gory in a PG-13 film that's far like more disturbing than gore in an unrated or NC-17 film. I don't think there's anything in Reanimator, which couldn't get an R rating when it came out, that's as troublesome to my psyche as the guy who rips off his face in Poltergeist.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's not about the extremity. It's like it's the buy-in, it's the build-up, and it's that I'm telling you, the editing of that scene when the music gets chaotic and he starts tearing, and there's all these really subtle, quick cuts. It's almost like the Psycho shower scene in that regard, and it feels a lot grosser than it is. Whereas to me, like hacking off limbs in Terrifier was kind of like Halloween shop stuff, right?
Yeah.
Which it works. It's fine tonally. It all works. You hit the nail on the head, actually, though, Mike. Man, these movies don't need to be 2 hours long.
No.
There is no good reason, and I think that hurts.
Because it's build up. People aren't like checking into these movies for like Oscar-winning acting, and they just people want to see a Terrifying movie for the kills essentially, and so to drag the time out in between kills is just seems like a strange decision to make. And
it's counterproductive. Look at it another way too. Like you guys, we're all very familiar with the Friday the 13th series, so I can use it as an example, not necessarily an endorsement. The Kevin Bacon kill in the original film, right, is not a particular, by gore standards, it's not that crazy, right? But god damn it gets a reaction, right? Because the whole scene is built up. It's kind of foreboding and slow, and you care about the character enough. And when it happens, it's shocking enough. But then you compare like later in the series, like the 7th film is always my example. Like we introduce a character, he's walking through the woods, and Jason comes out and tears his heart out.
Yeah.
And you don't care. And the gore doesn't work. What little gore is there doesn't work. But it's probably as much gore as was in the original, honestly. But there is everything to do with building up a character. And having that sense of atmosphere and foreboding. And a little bit of the uncanny. When Annie dies in the original Friday the 13th in the woods, you don't believe they're going to do it until they do it. The first time you watch anyway, right? So I think that's what kind of is missing from the Terrifier films for me is that I don't connect with any of those characters, and I don't really connect with the villain. I've never been one of those guys that wants to just like, I don't know. I don't want an assembly line slasher. Whereas we introduce a bunch of characters just for our cool iconic slasher to go to tear through. That's never been my thing. I love shit like Hell Knight. You know, whereas you get 3 characters in a house, or 4 characters in a house briefly, and a very cool killer is taking him out, but you actually know and appreciate those characters, and just atmosphere galore. I love that. That's why I like Hellfest. That's why I actually like some.
Yeah, Hellfest is it's such a
Hellfest
good
was really
film.
good. Yeah.
It's the most important slasher film, domestic slasher film of the last 25 years, and someday everyone will pick up on that. Someday.
I mean, what's your? I mean, like with Horns is kind of like. I mean, I love Horns, but it hasn't quite got what Hellfest has got in terms of the ending scene of Hellfest. Is just so. I mean, they just normalize the killer to a way that makes him even more creepy.
Yeah, because it goes against kind of like the supervillain thing, right? Like all the other slashers are trying to. Terrifier is a good example. Trying to elevate their killer to such ridiculous, cool extremes, and Hellfest, after watching that film, decides we're going to make him a regular guy. He's your neighbor.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunately probably a lot closer to the Ted Bundys of the real world, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot
and
more scary, yeah.
Not only is he a normal guy, but it appears that he's a good dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a headbender, right? But you see, that's the thing. It's like I think that a film like Hellfest has a problem with the people who think they love slashers as assembly lines, because it is not. There's this low body count, but when they happen, they're important and impactful. And as the characters get whittled down, you do feel the claustrophobia, even though it's in a fairly wide setting, which is a little bit unusual for a horror film. Like, if those girls just leave the park in the middle,
Yeah,
they're probably okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've been like flying the flag for that film for a long time, obviously, but the slasher thing has to either evolve or it is going to be self-parody for everyone soon. I think that those Halloween films really put a fine point on it, that you can't just do the same crap anymore. And there's been some very good modern slasher films, whether it's The Final Girls, which is amazing, Game Over, which is one of my favorite films of all time. You can make great slasher films, but you just can't do what was done constantly in the 80s and think it's going to play. I think that's done. I think it's over. It's a relic of its time.
I kind of like wonder if like Terrifier had originated in the early 80s, like whether it would have just been lost in the shuffle. And because of like where we are now, it stands out more because Freddy's died. I mean, we've still got Michael, but Jason's died a death kind of, and for now he's coming back. But Freddy's, you know, Freddy's gone as far as I'm concerned. I don't see Freddy coming back. So people were like waiting for like a new anyone to come through, and they kind of like hedged the bets with Art the Clown and kind of like ran with it. And now, because I don't know if Art the Clown would have really been a thing like in the 80s, maybe so much. But
Do you think that Terrifier itself is just such a product of trying to say to like a very specific niche, hey, you know, we're gonna make what the slasher film you always wanted, right? But that's both good and bad. Like if you get what you actually want, oftentimes it's long-term disappointment. Like it's the surprising stuff that you didn't know you wanted. That is the genre setting stuff. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, no one knew was when Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out. Only a few years after Night of the Living Dead, Sea Change. But no one knew they wanted that or that it was even possible before it happened. I think Empty Man is that example, right? So, like, we didn't know we wanted a grounded but extremely well done cosmic horror film during the pandemic years. But now that film, after having failed the box office, is considered a huge success. And I mean, because it's almost universally loved by the horror community now, and it wasn't that way on release. But those are the films that I think make the difference. Like if we're not looking for it and it comes out and it kicks our asses, that's the stuff that's going to stick around. Terrifier to me feels like what people think they want. I mean, it's a clown killing people with sharp instruments. This is not exactly something that hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
Yes, that last sequence from the last film, that's where I hope it goes.
Yeah.
Because we haven't seen that.
Yeah.
But it's a long ride there, right?
Yeah.
2 hours to get to a scene that's innovative.
It was. I also think it helps with the Terrifier films as well. I think the performance of Art the Clown, I think the guy that plays him actually is really, really good. You know, I think his performance elevates the movie a lot for me. Like, you could get someone else to play Art the Clown, which I believe, I've never seen it, but is it
All Hallows Eve?
Hallows
It's a
Eve?
different guy.
It's someone
it's a
else.
different guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I've never seen it, and so I can't comment on this guy's performance at all. I don't know whether he was good or not or whatever, but I think his name was David Howard Thornton, I think, is the guy that plays Art the Clown.
Yeah.
I think does a tremendous job in them movies, and especially in the second one as well. I think you take him out of that, it probably diminishes a little bit for me. So I think people actually enjoy Art the Clown probably more as a character than what they do the actual movie. Maybe.
Yeah, well, sure. And I think there's been a hunger for an iconic killer.
Yeah.
People were trying to push for it being the Happy Death Day, mask. But that's the thing. Post Scream, there's this idea that the killer's identity is a mantle, really, for the modern slashers, rather than because they want to be able to kill off the character so they get that big scene, but then they want to be able to just, the laundry cycle with it. Well, there's another one wearing that mask. Well, really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if there's an easy answer to how to fix the slasher film. There's probably 100 great answers for individual films, but as a movement, it never had a lot of runway. I mean, let's honestly face it. There's only so many ways to do this thing. You can write a really good film. You can direct a film. You can make it stylish and atmospheric, and you can do all the things right. But I think the chance to do what Carpenter did with Halloween, or Clark did with Black Christmas, or Cunningham did with Friday the 13th is kind of rearview mirror stuff. I don't think we can really do that and successfully again. Or even Craven did with Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't mean to disclude that just because everyone knows I'm not a big Craven fan or a big Nightmare fan. But you can't deny the first film.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the new Hell House LLC movie.
I've only ever seen the first film.
I mean, I like the second movie. I like the third movie to a point. This is like a return to form. I think not as good as the first movie, but yeah, in terms of like creepy clowns, I mean, I don't know what I think that first Hell House movie is genuinely creepy.
I have very little memory of it. That's the thing. It sticks out for a lot of people. I was watching a lot of those found footage in that flood, and a lot of it just blends together for me. And I do remember liking it more than a lot of the stuff I was watching at the time.
Yeah,
but like, I don't have
the cellar scenes in general. Like, it just genuinely, there's claustrophobia in those scenes, and just the two like main like clowns, I will call them. They're genuinely creepy scenes.
I need to check these movies out. I've never seen.
They're all on Shudder.
Like,
They should. They're all on Shudder. Yeah. But there's like four of them now. But the latest is like a bit of an Origins kind of thing with like. But yeah, I mean, the first movie is just, I think, is like, in terms of found footage, it's up there with like the original Blair Witch Project. I just think it's so good.
Maybe I should revisit.
Maybe not as good. Maybe not as good as Blair Witch 2 though.
I love Blair Witch.
I
love Blair Witch 2. Talk about swinging for the fences. You can't claim that. You cannot argue that Blair Witch 2 did not try to do something different.
No, well,
it definitely did.
Like
tried to do something different. Yeah.
Dan, by the way, Fascination. Just go with Fascination. Be real. I don't know. Do you guys think, though? I mean, my whole thing is we always think we know where horror is going, and then someone slaps us upside the head once every, I don't know, 15 years or something. And it's not always a ladder. It's not like we progress always. Sometimes we go backwards. And sometimes it's dead ends. Like I remember when Tremors came out, I thought, oh, we're gonna have the 50s, radiated bug movies for a modern generation. Awesome. And then we didn't. We got more Tremors movies, but we didn't get a wave of it.
Yeah.
And I guess that proves my point that none of us can predict it.
I think like horror movies can. Oh, it's going to be a little bit like the music scene. Like occasionally something will come along that will just totally change things. Whether it's punk or. I mean, in the UK, we had like acid house music in the late 80s, which was just a totally new thing that nobody saw coming, and it's just, and like in the early 2000s, we got a lot of like American, like new rock, like the Strokes and stuff.
Yeah.
Just like completely just like shook things up. And I think horror movies, it can be like that, it's something comes along and the next thing everybody's doing the same thing. And then I try to think like, Has there been a movement in horror since the late 90s, which is really kind of... I'm trying to think specifically Scream 96 and Blair Witch 99. I think, has there been anything since then which has had the same impact?
I would argue, and it's a thinner argument than if you're going to say what Halloween did or what Hammer did or what the Universal Monsters did. Okay, this does not rise to that level, but I would say that the original Saw actually was a correction. That was a pretty big correction because everything in horror was very glossy and very teen oriented for about 5 years, and there wasn't hardcore horror elements in those movies. They're pretty friendly, and then Saw comes out, and that 1-2 punch of Saw and Hostel. But I think that Saw had the impact. I think Hostel is I'm more of a defender than most people. I think it's a movie with an idea. The second film is kind of pointless. I never saw the third film. But Saw actually really hit a nerve with people as kind of an American giallo. Very much in the Dario Argento opera years vein, right? Because that's what that first film feels like. I would say that kind of re-centered the horror genre into a more dangerous place and away from the more safe, I know what you did last screaming Valentine. So I would say that probably was the last big one. But then again, like when Cloverfield came out, you would have thought, okay, I guess we're getting kaiju, right? No,
never happened.
And I don't know. And then, like Terrifier is its own thing, right? There hasn't been a slew of Terrifier imitators, right? And it's clearly not coming.
No.
Yeah, it's a bit like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre of its time, because that kind of came along, went and never really kickstarted any sort of. Maybe Hills of Eyes kind of is in the same sort of universe, does it?
Yeah.
Taking suburbanites, putting them in the middle of nowhere.
I would even include. You see, the thing is, we get Last House on the Left and Hills Have Eyes and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and those films ignited like this raw energy in the genre that frankly I wish we could get back to, because those films, you walked in and you didn't feel safe. You sat down, you did not feel safe in the theater. Those films could mess you up. People forget, because we get very familiar with these films, but no one is okay watching any of those three films on your first sitting.
Yeah,
they're all a bit over the line, and over the line is a good thing for a genre that's supposed to be focusing on things that make us uncomfortable. And too often, especially post 80s, like that whole later from Nightmare on Elm Street onward, the conversation turns towards, hey, wasn't that cool? Well, there's nothing really cool about Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Hills Have Eyes, or certainly Last House on the Left. What's cool about Last House on the Left, right? I'm always a little bit freaked out when I see someone wearing a Last House on the Left t-shirt, because I'm like, I like the film too, but if you really want people who don't know you looking at you and going, hey, I saw the beginning of that movie. I didn't see the end of that movie, but I saw the beginning of that movie.
Yeah, a movie like Last House on the Left as well. It's kind of like you take something like Terrifier 2 with like the ridiculousness of a giant, a 6 foot clown ripping a woman's arm off. There's nothing terrifying about that, even
No.
though it's called Terrifier. What is terrifying is a young girl like being led out into a lake and just being shot dead. That is
Yeah.
one of the most disturbing scenes I've ever seen in a movie.
It's disturbing because you can
Still-
tell she's given up,
Yeah,
right? And that it comes back to character. Like when they break her, they break her, and that's something you don't get. Again, to pick on a franchise we love, Friday the 13th New Blood. This guy goes, checks the refrigerator, he gets stabbed in the chest and dies instantly. He goes, oh, and he's dead. Like compare that with Mary, right?
Yeah.
Or is it Phyllis? I forget which one it is. But the one who, after the ordeal in the woods, will say, literally walks into the, and you get the feeling that she would have drowned her. She would have just kept walking to the lake
Yeah.
because it was gone. They broke her, even if they didn't shoot her. In a way, like Krug shooting her might even be kind of like the most merciful thing he does for the previous 10 minutes of that film. That's real horror. That's the real stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why I think when people say, "Oh, well, it's evoking Vietnam," I don't think there's anything about the film that evokes Vietnam from like a logical standpoint, but that sense of helplessness and how depressing, like that nature of Omaha's wild kingdom, but with humans, right? The lion taking down the gazelle, but with humans, and that's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's to a little less of an extent, but The Hills Have Eyes thing.
especially like as horror is very dependent on who you are as a person. A 12-year-old kid might find Terrifier 2 horrific. They may not find Last House on the Left horrific. If you're the parents of a child
Watching that film,
you're gonna find that, especially a daughter, you're gonna find Last House on the Left way more horrific than Terrifier 2. That's for sure.
it's funny, but we should be willing to go there though. All to those places. I always kid that we should kill the family pet in the film, right? And the reason I do is because people have a reaction to that, and it's a bad reaction. And we have to be we love a genre that's about morality and mortality. It's about death and agony and horror. Why would we be afraid of anything that makes us uncomfortable? I mean, it's all fantasy. I'm not saying we really kill the dog in real life. I'm just saying, like, the goal should be to go places we can't go safely in our real life and feel how they feel. And some of those things are bad feelings. But if it's just like, oh, I want the funny one-liner after the murder, well, then we're watching an Arnold Schwarzenegger film, really. We're not really watching a horror film, right? We're watching Raw Deal. Which, I mean, if you want to watch Raw Deal, that's cool. I like action films. I'm going to see an action film this weekend. But I don't search for horror for that reason. That's not why horror is there for me. As a kid, I don't think... I constantly hear people that they race their kids into, like, oh, my kid was watching in some extreme fucking horror movie. Like, oh, I showed my kid a Serbian film at 12. And I'm like, wow, you just scarred your kid for no good reason. That's awesome. Thanks for that.
Yeah, a movie. That's not a movie I want to revisit anytime
No,
soon.
not at all.
But I'm not a fan, but I'll tell you what, I'm glad it's out there.
Yeah.
Because we react that way. It's a dangerous film. Danger is good. I don't think most things need to go that far, but that's okay. I'll take that over just kind of horror pablum like a Nun 2 or basically anything Blumhouse has put out in the last 5 years, except for maybe The Hunt. You know?
Yeah.
Because what are we doing? We're just searching for things that, oh, I got a few good chuckles out of it. Then go see a comedy. What are you doing? I don't know.
Ben says, how do you all feel about Underwater? And Dan says, great ending. It's not the Kristen Stewart movie, is it? Because is that a different movie? Because I hated the Kristen Stewart
That is the
movie.
Kristen Stewart film.
I haven't.
I didn't like that
I
movie.
haven't seen it.
I didn't dislike it, but I kind of was bored the whole time because I've seen a better film called Deep Star 6 that does all the same beats. So there we are. I don't know. And like, yeah, Cthulhu's at the end of the film. Spoiler. I don't know if a CGI Cthulhu just popping up really does all that much for me. I know for Dan it does. Dan loves the film because the big green guy shows up. But for me, I saw a lot of people walking on the bottom of the ocean for a long time in that movie. That's what I remember. And ironically, you know what? Meg 2 just did the same thing better.
Oh, I hated the Meg 2. That
Oh,
Meg,
it's better than Underwater.
Oh, well, yeah, but they're both terrible movies. The Meg 2, oh my god.
It's
That
exactly
movie-
so. Listen, Meg 2 is you show up at the fast food restaurant.
Yeah.
You got to say, I'm not getting Thanksgiving dinner here. Right?
Yeah.
You know what you're getting. You're getting a clogged artery, but sometimes the stroke is worth it. I like the big dumb shark movies.
I like the Meg 1, though. I actually thought that was a decent movie. The Meg 2, though, is just,
Yeah.
it's too much.
See, it's kind of where I think they should be.
Ben says, speaking of dogs' death, I left a comment on the last Region 3 episode hoping for a top 5 animal deaths list from y'all on the next Region 3.
So
Being we're about to slaughter a ton of turkeys.
that Ben, we really appreciate that, and obviously I'm down. But so the next show we have is jam packed. And the last show we didn't get through everything, so we have a lot of like carryovers that we need to take care of. But that sounds like an amazing Christmas episode to me. Talk about animal death. That's what everyone wants for the holidays. So maybe I could convince the guys. I don't know.
The dog in Halloween. That was cruel.
The second Creature from the Black Lagoon movie has the best freaking dog death because it is the scene from Halloween, right? The dog runs up to it, go barking, and like the creature just picks it up, shakes it till it doesn't move anymore, and drops it. And you're like, this movie was made in the 50s. It's amazing. There's a lot of that, though. I mean, to be honest with you, I remember when I saw I always screw this up. It's either Single White Female or Hand That Rocks the Cradle. All those movies blend together to me. All those shitty, we're not a horror film, we're a psychological thriller, but we'll do everything the horror film does.
Horror does, yeah.
But we'll get real actors who are somehow too pretty for the roles. But I remember them introducing a little dog like in a scene, and I was like, out loud in the theater, I was like, that dog is dead in the next 5 minutes. And sure enough, they're just like swinging from the rafters. I'm like, nailed it.
It's like the poor little rabbit in Fatal Attraction. You know the rabbit's going in the fucking boiling pot, don't you?
Absolutely. Well, so just saw Leo, which is the Indian adaptation of History of Violence. And they kill the family dog like immediately in that movie. Like it's like the dog goes outside and you hear a gunshot. Like it's like whoa. And then they give you a horrific close up that they linger way too on of the dog bleeding out, and you're like, okay, this movie means it. It's pretty great. I'm on so many government lists. Oh, I think someone's muted.
Yeah.
Sorry, I like P2. Sorry. Yeah.
We couldn't hear you there for a sec, right?
A loose connection in the microphone, so when it comes loose, it automatically mutes on StreamYard. So I have to remember to unmute myself.
Mike, I have the same microphone, so let me ask you something. Is it the actual USB connection on the back because the angle is so fucking bad on the design?
It's shit. Yeah. And where they put the headphone jack as well is in a stupid place as well. So it's kind of like the headphone jack kind of has to go into, or it's just.
Yeah, it's a bad design, but it's a great microphone. So what are you gonna do?
I was going to ask you because one of the topics I did want to bring up. I don't know how big a fan you are of the original movie, but It Follows is getting a sequel called They Follow.
That was a really frustrating
like sort of information. There's no information to go on, but I was just curious to get, because like I loved the first film, but some movies work best just as a standalone. I don't really think we need any more explanation as to, it's just.
I mean, like, I'm not a huge fan of the original film just because I kind of got the concept and they played loose. They changed their rules. Then they ended it in a swimming pool with a scene that makes no sense.
Yeah.
But I sat there and I said, you know what? I didn't care for that, but this movie's good for the genre, and I can tell you, it tried something. I don't think it pulled it off, but it tried something, and so I'm good with It Follows, even though I don't need to watch it ever again.
Yeah.
But it kind of pisses me off. Like, you got someone who wants to do something original, and he kind of like flounders afterwards trying to get something off the ground, and eventually he's like, "Put my hands up in the air. I'll just do that again," which is kind of like the whole thing that he was trying to fight against, right? So that's kind of depressing. I mean, maybe he'll do something really cool and innovative, and maybe it'll even like redeem the first film for me. But if it's just a bunch of people, like, oh well, there's 7 of these things rather than 1.
It's just
I'll
the
be,
same
I'll be
thing.
like,
yeah.
I don't care. And
I love-
okay, get in the pool and electrocute it again because that lame shit will work again. Yes.
There's some issues with the logic of how it works, because it is described as it simply goes from point A to point B in the quickest time, and to get to whoever it's trying to transmit the whatever it is. But I mean, there's a couple of scenes where it stood on the roof of the house.
Yeah.
Why would it be on the roof of the house if it's simply going from point A to point B? The whole swimming pool scene is it doesn't really make much sense. But I do love elements of the movie. I love the soundtrack. I love the fact that like her friends, Jay's friends in it, are all like good people. There's no like bitches. There's no dickish boys who jocks. It's just all good, just nice people.
They
who
don't
believe her as well. They believe her when before they even see. They kind of like know something's wrong, and they don't just you're just you know.
There's a lot of good things about the movie, and it's a serious film. It's not like something that you can cast away. It just didn't land to me because the logic of it I couldn't really wrap my head around, and it violated its rules. Because I mean, when she goes out to the fisherman to have sex with the fisherman, she kind of wins, and then the film like really irrationally jerks the win away from her in a way that's not satisfying. So I don't know. I feel like, and that metaphor is a little wonky to begin with. Because it's obviously like a moral STD.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That's taking the sex equals death thing really, really seriously, which was always kind of just something that critics invented to pick on horror films.
Yeah.
Well, but the guy, his name escapes me, but the guy who like infects Jay, wouldn't he have been better going to sleep with a prostitute?
Yeah, there's a million ways out of this.
You know what I mean? It's just like, why would you go to like a sort of like virginal type pure girl who doesn't sleep around when there's people who literally take money for sex? It's like...
the clock is ticking, right? So you'd think like you'd go to the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
I mean, you find a drug addict in your town. Okay, done.
Make sure you put a condom on first.
Well, that's the thing.
Would that work? It's like, would that work? I don't know. That's
exactly.
Not clear.
I like. What about lesbian sex? Or I mean, they don't. Maybe we're thinking too much about this.
Maybe we are.
Yeah, no, it's very much like the Jordan Peele movies in that like the metaphor becomes more important than the plot, and either you're down for the ride or you're not. In this case, I wasn't because it was just too much for me to try and process in a logical way, and it just kind of falls apart. The Peele film Us falls completely apart, and I sit there and I say, "Wow, that's his weakest film." I know there's people who love it, but to me, like that doesn't quite work. Like whereas, the most recent one, Nope, I think like that's definitely doesn't work on a logical level, but I love the metaphor, and I think it works well enough that I was invested.
I need to rewatch that, but I did like it, and I think the more another rewatch, I like it even more.
It's
a strange movie. It doesn't really.
Peele is one of those guys. I'm so on his side, but he's yet to make the film to deserve me to always be on his side. Like I think all 3 of them are really good. None of them are great, but they all have elements that makes me go, "There is a great movie there." Just do it, man. I know you can. And he's a good writer. Like that's the scary thing. It's like he doesn't have the Achilles heel that like a M. Night Shyamalan obviously has, right? So he's a very frustrating filmmaker because I'm on his side and I still want that movie. Nope has one thing about it that I really wish he hadn't done, which is the change in focal character in the last act is such a bad idea. We're following a really likable character the whole time, and we switched to his annoying sister as the focal character in the last 15 minutes. That is a horrifically bad storytelling idea. I know why he did it, but fuck, man. Find a different way. But man, I'm forever voting for a great Peele movie. I just don't.
Did anybody see Dark Harvest?
I haven't. I've read the novel. I'm a fan of Norman Partridge's novel. So
Yeah, that's. I was hoping for more from that. It was enjoyable. It kind of like felt a bit purgy though, with like certain elements for just like kids going on a rampage and just like randomly murdering people, which didn't really kind of fit in with the film, I don't think. But it's worth checking out. It's a solid movie. I really liked VHS 85. I think it's a return to form for the VHS movies. I hated 94 and 99. 85's definitely. I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed 85 a lot. Yeah.
I'm just trying to like. So I'm trying to go over some of the movies. What I did watch as well, I think, which I'd never seen, is the Later Rest movies. Later Rest and Co. So I really enjoyed them.
I enjoy them both.
Lower budget, but
I
really
think
good.
Chrome Skull is an insane movie. Like,
It's a better movie than the first film, I think.
absolutely.
I loved
but
it.
it's not a repeat of the first film either.
No.
But I love the fact that they built a conspiracy around a serial killer and it works.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice to see Brian Austin Green. I've not seen him since Beverly Hills 90210. But I really enjoyed it. I was like,
I was shocked that there was not more room. I mean, because that definitely wanted to be a franchise, and kind of like the Collector movies, it never quite got there. So
yeah, the Collector movies as well. I mean,
I love that second
maybe-
movie so much.
Yeah. Me too.
There's a perfect example of a sequel that's better than the original, and there's a decent amount of those. People always say that they don't exist. They're not unicorns. There's quite a lot of sequels that are better than the originals.
Yeah. I mean, I love the Collector, I do, but I'm with you, Lorne. The Collection for me was I loved it, absolutely loved it, and it's just a shame that what happened with the Collected, with the third movie.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll ever get what little footage was made, exists.
Yeah,
I mean,
probably not.
yeah, because the end of the Collected, is it the Collection or the Collected?
Collection.
I
is the
get
second one, yeah.
confused with the
Yeah.
It's the Collection. It ends obviously with the gun at the back of his head, doesn't it? And
I love the ending of that movie
yeah,
of Collection. It's just so satisfying.
oh,
I
absolutely.
love it. Yeah, it's just And I'm also what I love about it as well is that you never fully see him neither. You still keep him quite like
yeah.
obscure,
Shit
which is
back of his
just
head, yeah.
perfect. Yeah,
Yeah, I think those two movies deserve a lot more.
yeah, I agree.
A lot more mention. It's not that they're obscure by any means, but like people tend to forget that they existed. And again, I think the Collector movies, undeniably sprung from the Saw wave, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
believe the original script, obviously, it got
Yeah.
tweaked a lot, but the original script for the Collector was a Saw
Yeah.
sequel.
Yeah,
Apparently.
and so I mean, again, to go back to earlier what you said, like I think Saw probably is the last like sea change movie because just of what it changed in the genre. Because the Collector could easily be made like a Scream clone. I know it's scary to think about, but it could have been. But I'm glad we had that tonal reset before it happened, because a film like that benefits from it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like what the 2010s, every decade kind of as a. When we think of the 80s, we automatically think of like the slasher, the camp slasher, and college slashers. 90s, we definitely think towards the late 90s as like, that sort of like attractive teens and like pedal sort of like urban legend, and very and the identikit like video covers of like young people staring out. And then the 2000s was very much like sort of like
Remakes.
I sort of like it was like the found footage. I mean, I don't like that term, torture porn.
Yeah.
But very much torture porn / found
Remakes.
footage. So the 20, I'm trying to think like what the 2010s. What did they really sort of? I can't really put my finger on what
It's funny
They-
because it was a very successful decade for horror. When you
Yeah.
start really looking, because in a vacuum you think, there wasn't really that much that was big. When you actually look at it, like every year has huge horror hits, but there was no movement. There was nothing to combine them into one thing. And unfortunately, 2010s, you're talking about the birth of Blum.
Yeah.
So you're talking Conjuring, and you're talking
Yeah.
Maybe the Conjuring universe is the one sort of
Yeah.
movement that came out of.
Insidious movies, maybe.
Well, I consider that part of
Well,
the
yeah.
Conjuring thing, though, right?
Yeah,
It's all that time period. I like the Insidious films more. I haven't seen the new one yet, but
No, I haven't checked out the new one yet myself.
I've heard really bad things. But then again, I hear bad things about that entire series, and I tend to like all those movies when I actually see them. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. I think the 2010s. I think it's more like the Conjuring kind of
I think so.
universe really kind of sticks out for me during that time period.
As being successful, not necessarily being a positive thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
of course, yeah.
I guess would the Conjuring universe have been a thing without the MCU doing what they did, with like the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Having spin-offs.
Would
yeah.
they have like gone down that road, or would they have just been individual, without the tie into everything? I think they would have
know.
been, you know what I mean? It's like,
I think that it was a weird period when we talk about the late 2010s, right? Because Hollywood was like, oh, now everything can be connected, and all the money's in bigger budgets for genres that in the past weren't. Because people forget, like, the superhero genre wasn't designed to be huge budgets. When you go back far enough, it's not really until Batman, the Burton Batman, that you start seeing really big budgets. Those Superman films, you'd be shocked by like how cheaply they were making those movies. But
Yeah. Especially Part 4.
well, the canon Superman film. I just think that like everything changed, and suddenly they're like, oh, let's spend $40 million on a movie about a haunted house. I mean, if you would have gone to the Amityville 2, the Possession producers, and said, let's spend $40 million on this movie, they would have been like, yeah, we're not breaking $1 million because we like money. So I don't know exactly I think that movement of trying to get the really glossy, glossy but limited locations, limited cast. In the beginning, like what Blum was doing was really going back to the Corman model, and I was a big supporter back then of going back to that model, if nothing else. There's films like Dark Skies and the first Purge film that I think really worked really well for that. But they turned out to be really, really, really safe plays every time.
Yeah.
And something like the Purge movies should never have been safe.
Yeah.
That whole concept was supposed to be subversive out the ass, but it very quickly descended into, oh, let's make fun of political figures from America. And it's like, really? That's what you got? You have this opportunity to do something truly groundbreakingly chaotic and anarchist, and they did that. And it's like, it's too bad. You gave it away. But that's what the whole House of Blum did. Remember, they were afraid to put out The Hunt. They pulled it from release for a year.
Well.
Yeah.
It's one of the best things in their entire catalog. It may be the best thing in their catalog. So
we were talking before. Actually, is Blumhouse owned by like a bigger company, or are they like their own
No,
thing?
they
Or
have
just like
they're so we always, as film fans, we sometimes conflate distributors and production houses. They're different things. So when you watch a film, you saw the Lakeshore Entertainment logo come up on screen. They're the ones who made the film. But before that, you got the Universal logo, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones who are distributing the film. So there, and it gets a little messy because some distributors tend to put money into films they're going to distribute that they believe there's an advantage to having part of the back end of, not just the receipts. So it's a little bit complex, but no, Blumhouse aren't owned by anything larger, but they exist with their distribution deal, and they can never escape it. Though I would say long enough timeline, maybe someone will want to escape it, because the way things are going now, great. The lack of awareness on the Exorcist film is astounding. It makes all the other studios that are screwing up at the moment look absolutely sane. They just took money and threw it out the window.
So I mean, they've got.
Worst film of the year, by
We're
the
still
way.
waiting on. So Exorcist was obviously a flop, but they've signed up for 2 more movies, which
Yeah.
may never even get. But I mean, if what will be the
So they own the rights. They licensed the rights from Morgan's Creek for 3 films, 3 theatrical films. They can use anything from the films that Morgan Creek owns for it. So that's, I believe, the first, third, fourth, and fifth. But I'm sure they don't want anything from the second, so they're fine. But at this point, like, where's the goodwill? You announce an Exorcist film for 2025. Is there even any chatter besides how bad is it going to be?
no?
So what do you do? What do you expend on it? How do you promote it? Do you just skip theaters altogether and go to a streaming service? I would actually bet that's where it goes, but a streaming service is not going to make them enough money without that theatrical advertising window. But it's a deep hole. I don't see how you get out of it unless you make a great film. Still haven't seen it, Dan. Sorry. It's on the list. I get scared of Ari Aster. I just do, because I love Hereditary, and I think it's going to be a disappointment forever, even if it's a small disappointment forever. But I love Hereditary. To me, Hereditary is a film that should have been a watermark moment in the horror genre, and it wasn't, because the money wasn't made.
Talking of money meme, I touched on it before, but there's something about, like, the Halloween rights being going over to Miramax and what they're going to do, and we're just discussing, like, the original, well, not the original trilogy, the last trilogy that came out, and like Halloween 2018 was like cost $10 million and made $270 million, and we were just, I mean, it got onto like horror should be an easy way, not easy way of making money, but with what you have to put into it in terms of money spent, in terms of what you get back, it makes a lot more sense to be plowing money into like the horror genre than spending hundreds of millions of dollars on like another Marvel movie to get, like, make it $100 million back. It's just,
Mike, let's put it this way: they spent $400 million on the rights to The Exorcist. If they made that means they could have made $202 million pictures in the genre that would have probably been competitive on the market. Because honestly, you don't have to spend very much to make a horror film, but $2 million is enough to make a decent horror film with their old model. They used to do it all the time.
did they not do any market research? Because, like, I'm not a businessman. I'm no expert, but if somebody had come to me and said, "Yeah, well, we're looking at getting the rights to the Exorcist franchise, and we're going to spend like $200-300 million," I'd be saying, as a fan of horror movies, nobody gives a shit about The Exorcist. It's 2023. I mean, to be fair,
that's fair, but I think what the thing is this, and I've kind of gone back and forth with some people we know about this. Like, The Exorcist is as big a title as anything out there. Okay, there's nothing bigger than The Exorcist. If you have people say, "Give me the top 3 scariest films of all time," there's zero chance The Exorcist is not in that list.
But is the box office there though, in terms of like
the original film was? Big time it was. But here's the thing: The Exorcist as a title refers to the first film. It does not refer to a franchise.
Yeah.
There has been a franchise, but how often when you talk about The Exorcist do you talk about anything but that first film, unless you're talking about the sequels in comparison to the first film? Listen, I love the third film. It's higher on my list of favorite films than The Exorcist is. But are we going to pretend that The Exorcist didn't change cinema? Because it did. It's huge. The problem is no one wants or cares if a sequel is coming out. We have our Exorcist film, and it's fucking perfect. So that's what you're competing with. It's kind of like the person who wants, if you're going to buy a sports car, if you're going to buy a Ferrari, right? If someone rolls up in a minivan, you look at it and go, "That's not a Ferrari." And that's what they tried to do. They tried to roll up in the minivan and tell you it was a Ferrari. And everyone saw from a million miles away it wasn't. And then you got behind the driver's seat and said, wow, this isn't even a good minivan. This is a pretty shitty minivan.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
that's the
So
thing, that's-
why
that's-
spend that kind of money?
Well, that's the thing. It's like everybody acknowledges like how great the original movie is, but we're talking about a franchise where a sequel that nobody even remembers is atrocious, an amazing third movie, but very few people even remember. You know, a lot of people who were fans of the original Exorcist movie, you know, may have not even realized there was even a third movie because it never really got the fanfare it deserved when it came out. So yeah, and that movie is 33 years old. You're talking about a movie that everyone relates to, which is 50 years old. And I honestly think spending $300 million to get the rights to Nightmare on Elm Street would be a mistake. So to spend that much to get
for
the
the
rights
same
to The
problem,
Exorcist,
for the same
yeah.
reasons.
And that's a movie, that's a franchise that has been in the public consciousness much more recently
So-
than.
The only thing I'll say, that the only big difference I'll say is this: like, I don't think The Exorcist, because The Exorcist is literate and smart and subversive, and it uses subliminals and inference. It's really a phenomenal piece of filmmaking, right? The original Nightmare on Elm Street is really effective ghost story. I'm not going to say it's a phenomenal film from a filmmaking standpoint. There's plenty of like, oh my god, how did they get away with that shit in it? I mean, not even talking about pulling dolls through windows. I'm talking like being able to see the spots on the stairs where her feet are going to sink. There's plenty of problems that The Exorcist does not have. Okay? But here's the thing. I always have said, like, I'm not on this tip that no one could play Freddy as well or even better than Robert Englund. I think there's great actors out there that could absolutely do their own interpretation, but they'd have to divorce it from what Englund did entirely.
Yeah.
And that's where the fan base is not comfortable. So it makes it an impossible task. You could make something great, and the fans would probably still hate it. So why make another Nightmare on Elm Street film? And I think that's the dilemma they're having. There's been plenty of concepts. Some of them even got pretty close to being made. But the fan base is just going to tear you apart. I think, anyway. And I think that's true to a degree of Friday the 13th, too. When that remake came out, it hit all the beats. That remake is not everyone's cup of tea, I get it. But it's better than most of the later sequels. Are we being honest? Are you honestly going to tell me that 2009's Friday the 13th is a worse film than Jason Takes Manhattan? That's ridiculous. You might like Takes Manhattan, but come on. I mean...
I think it's a better movie than Jason X. It's controversial. It's a controversial statement when it comes to law. But
Well, Jason X is a different thing. Jason X is like an acid trip of a movie.
Oh yeah.
It is not meant the same way as the rest of the series around it. Which is, if you take it as its own thing, I think that Jason X is a really, really amazing experience. But it does hit all the Friday beats that you want. It just does it in this kind of bizarrely psychedelic, like subtly psychedelic, but psychedelic way. And I'm down. I'm down over that, over just trying to recapture the glory of the first four films, inevitably, and failing. Which I'd say the remake doesn't rise to a final chapter or anywhere near the original, or the second film for that matter. I like it more than the third film. The third film continues to be like lesser in my mind as every time I watch it. It's very stagey. It feels fake. It feels California. Has no mood or atmosphere. Although it has more than the fifth film, because that film is like as flat as a fucking movie could be. That film, the fifth film, looks like a fucking television commercial made by porn directors.
I'll
Pretty much
clip
was,
that.
wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty close to
I'll
what
clip-
it was.
I'll clip that and send it to Piz.
How Piz knows. He just likes it just for those reasons, which is cool.
The
Again,
weird thing was when I rewatched Part 5 when I was doing my Friday series review, I never used to like Part 5 when I first watched it, but then when I rewatched it, I found it quite entertaining. Part 5, weirdly enough.
so everyone likes to pick on the slow kid, right? We don't admit to doing it, but that's kind of what it is. The movie's so incompetent that can you like it as a bad film? Sure. My problem is if you're going to call yourself Friday the 13th and come after a movie like The Final Chapter,
Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Like pretending it's a better film than the final chapter is a little bit of a stretch.
Oh,
Huh?
it's nowhere near on the level of what the final chapter
But
is.
so-
But
Certainly not.
I found moments in part 5 that I don't know, but I laughed more in it. You know, you're not supposed to laugh,
Yeah,
but I
no,
laughed
but
more in that movie than anything else.
that's a perfect. I get it. It's just
Yeah.
not for me. But
Yeah.
Dave, I'll tell you, for an instance, like you've been revisiting the Halloween films, right?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the fifth film for trying to do something thematically different, and it was hamstrung by being made too fast and not
Yeah.
without having the money or the time. There's actors in it that were clearly unprepared for the role because they were probably thrown in the night before. They probably got handed pages the night before. So I mean, the movie has all kinds of flaws, but it tries to do something different, which to me, I respond to. I'm like, okay, this is a bizarre, weird experience. I'm definitely not in the world of Halloween that I'm comfortable with.
Mhm.
Whereas the fourth film just wants to be the first film so badly,
Mm.
but is so incompetent at it. I'm like, screw this. But a lot of fans love that. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, to me, like a character like Rachel is just so white bread and boring.
Mm.
It's like watching paint dry. But there's a lot of fans out there that, oh no, she's great. We love her. I can relate to her. I know people like her. And I'm like, I think I know too many people like her. That's the problem. She's anyone.
Yeah. And it was also with Death in part 5, just never bothered me at all. I
No.
didn't care.
The sooner she was gone, I was good. I was like, okay. Yeah, the other girl's annoying, but you know what? I at least it's at least interesting hate
She
watching.
had some kind of personality to you.
Right.
Though. That's the thing.
You weren't gonna confuse her with any other characters on screen.
Not at all, though.
And that's the thing. Like, I think that the whole genre would benefit from that kind of like, can we at least be different? Can we at least go to places that haven't been gone? A lot of fans just want the comfortable, and I get that. You're gonna win this battle, not me. So don't get angry or offended by me because you are going to win. I'm going to lose. But every once in a while, I'll get an Empty Man or a Hellfest.
Yeah.
I can just spend a moment like being the guy, the lone voice out there for a while.
Yeah.
And that's good. That's fine. I will never watch another Scream movie. I'll never watch another Halloween movie. I mean, that list is growing, by the way, as I realize that I'm not terribly interested. I'm not going to go see the next Exorcist film when it comes out. I'll never see Megan. You know, Sam loves Megan, and you know, she's constantly telling me, you really should give it a chance. Yeah, but I look at it and I go, I don't need Blum child's play. I just don't.
Yeah.
So I'm just not going to spend my time on things I don't think I have a chance to win me over. And Dan has it right there, right?
Yeah.
When Evil Lurks is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing
Yeah,
film.
I need to check that out. Actually, that's it's actually next up for me to watch. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Before we wrap things up, because it is, was it 2:45 a.m. in the UK?
Yes, only 9:45
I will.
civilization.
I will say there is a. I don't know if it's an American remake. It sounds like a British cast, so it could be a UK remake of one of the best movies from a couple of years ago. What's it called? I've lost the fucking title. Oh,
Is it the remake?
It's the remake of Speak No Evil, a Dutch film about a Dutch family and a Danish family who become friends on vacation, and then the Danish family visits the Dutch family, and it goes dark. Amazing movie. It's getting I think it's going to be sounds like it's going to be a British remake because Nicholas Holt's in it, and it seems like an all British cast. But if anybody, Speak No Evil is a fantastic movie. So, a remake again. Even if it's a British remake, it probably won't be as good as the original. But you know, that just tends to be the way. I don't know.
We'll wait and see.
But anyway, yeah, I've had to wrap things up, I'm afraid, because I say we've been streaming for 3 hours, and
it's been a great stream. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been, and especially thank you for jumping on, Lorne. I always bring an interesting perspective to things. Rather than
you can get all those comments full of hate because I've been on. It'll be good.
Lorne, you always bring a touch of class on.
Yeah,
when you come on, mate.
far more class than we can.
I don't know about that.
Far more class than us than we can bring.
So
Absolutely.
When you're saying, okay, the guy from Jersey is bringing class, there's a problem with your conversation.
You should have, Dave. You should have gone over to Jersey when you were in New York. And
I told him he could reach
Yeah,
out,
no, we did. To be fair,
but he probably had family, and he was like, "I'm not going to embarrass him by hanging out with this guy."
no, I was just with my mate.
How did you like New York?
I loved it. To be honest with you, mate, I really did enjoy my time, and I'll definitely go back. 100%.
Excellent.
Yeah,
It's hard to explain if you've never experienced the city, even if you live here in the States.
yeah,
There's an energy, and it is palpable.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a great time. Like I say, 100% go back. I was only over for about 4 days. A lot of that time was taken up with New York Comic Con, obviously, but it flew by for me. It only felt like I was there for 24 hours.
Now, Mike, you see, follow the leader. You got to get over here, dude.
I'll try.
Yeah, me and you, mate, we should go over together.
I know. I mean, I'm sure that the cost of a plane ticket would be cheaper than Robert Englund's autograph. So, I mean,
wasn't that bad, mate? To be honest with you.
How long was the flight?
It was going over. It was 6.5 hours, just a little over 6.5 hours.
That's nothing.
Coming back, it was 5.5 hours.
Oh, it takes longer to go across the country than that. So that's cool.
And it didn't feel it at all. It didn't feel long at all. It was a nice flight, actually.
Was there in-store entertainment? Was there? Did they have the screens in the seat in front of you?
Oh yeah, you can watch it. I think I watched season 3 of the Young Rock, and I hadn't even seen season 1 or season 2, but I had season 3 up there. And I thought, all right, whatever.
That's such a great thing. I mean, everyone is just like glued to the screens, and that's kind of depressing in a way. But another way, it's like it does make flights go like so much.
Oh, it passed the time completely. So I used that, and then coming back, I started watching The Last of Us again because I had all the season 1 on there. So I just thought, I'll watch that.
On my last flight, I watched Dunkirk, which is the one I missed. And I was like, And you're watching on a screen this big, probably is like any director's nightmare, but
yeah,
especially Nolan's.
Exactly.
I love Dunkirk. I think Dunkirk's amazing.
Yeah, Dunkirk's brilliant.
Yeah. He's one of those guys I always say, I'm going to get out the theater to see his films, and I never do. So.
Region 3 this Monday.
It is.
Any topics of conversation you can reveal?
Not that I can reveal. It's going to be a fun show. Again, there's a lot of stuff that we intended for the last couple episodes that got bumped. But they're all really good topics. That's why we didn't just let them go. So, I mean, this is kind of a cleanup episode, but it's going to be fun. Prepare for some insanity, some returning newer faces. Some, of course, favorites will be back on the show, and then you'll have to deal with me. And always a fun time getting together with my brothers and sisters. And I love the fact that, it's when we restarted, no one was exactly sure, what it would be. And the feedback has been amazing. And that's it really shows that we still do have a community, which was a real fear after the pandemic was over. There's a real fear that everyone would just go their separate ways and say, that was a fun few years. And it's good that Region 3 can still serve a purpose for people.
Yeah. Dave, you got anything to plug?
Well, yeah. Hopefully, I should have my Halloween 6 review out tomorrow. Hopefully, that is the plan. But it is my birthday at the moment, so it may get pushed to Sunday. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. So it may get pushed to Sunday, but I will try and get it out tomorrow before my day of carnage starts. And then next week I will have a Totally Killer review out, and then I will have When Evil Lurks as well.
Yeah.
And then I will jump back into the Halloween franchise just after that. So that's what I've got coming up.
Very nice. I will maybe go live on Sunday with a random countdown list, maybe. Just trying to get back into streaming because I've taken a month off and I just lost my mojo totally, and I'm just trying to get it. It's just sometimes I just lacked any sort of.
But the thing is, though, mate, sometimes a break is good as well. I've been thinking of doing that. I've actually been thinking of taking a break in December.
Well, everybody was streaming in October. Everybody was streaming in October anyway, so it was kind of like just maybe a good idea just to sit back and just watch everybody else, because October's the month when everybody just does a crazy amount of streams and whatnot. But
True.
So yeah, hopefully trying to get back into things now. Now the mad October rush is over, and yeah. So anyway, yeah. So hopefully go live Sunday. But anyway, Dave, pleasure as always. Lorne,
Oh, thank you very
as
much.
always, thank you for jumping on. And everybody who's
Lorne.
in the chat tonight, thank you so much, and see you guys later. Good night.
Take care, everybody.